This time on Square Roots, a scattered dream that's like a far-off memory. A far-off memory that's like a scattered dream. I want to line the pieces up. Yours and mine, baby. It's Kingdom Hearts 2 time.
Hey everyone, and welcome to Square Roots, the classic RPG podcast. My name is Jim Banks. I am joined by Matthew Van Zandt.
Matthew Van Zandt, also known as Light.
John Diz Brandon.
Oh boy.
Did you know that you can do a very flawless Captain Janeway impression if you just think of Vincent Price and then make it a little more female?
A little more femme, Vincent Price?
Yeah, a little more femme.
What does that sound
reading
like?
the Reddit post of the week.
No, hang on. I need an example of this. John?
There's coffee in that nebula.
That sounds nothing like Janeway.
Better be packing something bigger in your torpedo tubes.
I'm a lizard, Tom, and you're a lizard. Let's make babies together.
And we're also joined by Vanessa.
I'm Vanessa.
And this is a podcast where we play and talk about your favorite classic RPGs, like Kingdom Hearts 2, The Deuce.
Oh, is this not a podcast where we make misogynistic impressions of famous, beloved Star Trek captains?
This is a podcast where we open for new listeners with a terrible Captain Janeway impression.
Listeners, John has promised not to do his Donald Duck.
Yeah,
okay?
that's true.
That is my gift to you. My other gift to you is that I hate this game.
Although I will say that we do get a chance to do another recurring character because I think John's a little baby Fresh Eyes for Kingdom Hearts 2.
A little baby Fresh Eyes.
Mm-hmm. This is your favorite series.
I don't know what you're having.
Gosh, I'm gonna eat that baby.
Because that's what goofies do.
That is goofy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he's really gotten into the edge comedy over the years, you know?
Did somebody say little baby Fresh Eyes? I'm here.
Oh, God.
Dead baby jokes. I say whatever I want.
Coming up, it's Goofy's new Netflix comedy. No
Not
trigger
paying.
warnings.
Oh,
What's
man.
the deal with contraception? Women don't have to wear a condom. Okay, I'll stop.
Hello,
Have you heard about Viagra?
Let me sell you on some new pills, Blue Earth.
Hey, I got some Viagra for you. It's called a hotter chick, am I right? Yeah.
Oh, God.
Oh no, it's alt-right comedian Vanessa again.
Did Sam Kinison just walk in? Sam, get out of here.
I
Go
went
back to your
college.
grave.
Actually, I went to sorority.
Oh, man. Okay,
Gosh,
well...
I was suspended and eventually expelled for my behavior.
Cancel my
Left-wing, it was
channel.
Oh, no,
It was
I've
a
been
left-wing
canceled.
media smear job.
I've been deplatformed. Oh, jeez.
Goofy.
You guys know our endearing Kingdom Hearts character, alt-right comedian Goofy, right?
Vanessa's got lots of material for him.
Gosh, the real oppression is not paying me to tell jokes.
No, man. All right, well, let's talk about how we level up, because we have a lot to talk about in this chapter.
I think that you need to tell us what this show is about.
I already did that.
I don't
Why are we
think you
playing
did,
Kingdom
though.
Hearts 2?
I did. I said it.
What made us decide to play Kingdom Hearts 2?
It is listener choice. Actually, let's
Wow.
say a patron choice. The patrons
Wow.
picked this. Yeah.
You really betrayed us here, patrons. You really stabbed us in the back.
They worked together to do it, too. It was like a concerted effort.
I've been waiting for this game for a long time because last year was our year of sequels, and I tried to get this game on all the time, and you guys kept trying to find a reason not to do it. Now, thanks to the patrons, we're finally doing it.
It lost several votes. You just kept putting it back on. I think everybody was like, well, if we don't let him play it eventually, he's gonna leave the show.
Now he'll pick a new game. But yeah, so we're playing Kingdom Hearts 2.
Birth by Sleep
was the results of a Patreon poll.
It's true.
And this is the first episode of our series. But before we get into all the Roxasness, let's talk about how we leveled up. I'm going to go first this week. I watched a horror movie called The Empty Man. And it sounds like a stupid kind of slasher movie, but it's actually kind of like the intro. This movie is almost 2.5 hours long. The intro is like 25 minutes. It's super long. It's a super long horror movie. It's not very good. But I did get a chance to make a really great joke while watching it, because I watched it with a friend, and I paused the movie. Now, remember, the movie's called The Empty Man. Got up to throw away a can, paused the movie, and I turned to my friend and I said, "Hey." She goes, "What?" I said, "The empty can." And she's like, "What?" And I said, like the empty man, but it's an empty can. She goes, "I hate you."
That's a fair response, honestly.
So
she's
the
like,
empty
so
man.
you're you're paid to do comedy? You?
Was that a joke?
God,
yeah,
I hope she doesn't listen to this.
Yeah. The Empty Man, not a good movie. Don't see it. John, how did you level up?
Well, I found out that my name's in the credits of a feature film coming out this year. I'll tell you more when it's released.
As a production baby?
Is it Mortal Kombat?
Is it Mortal Kombat?
Not Mortal Kombat.
Are you a production baby?
No, I have a real credit in it, and I'm very excited.
Are you saying production babies aren't real?
Well, they didn't work on the film.
I don't know what a production baby is.
Me neither.
And I'm willing to bet our listeners don't either.
I think they do. It's like when there's some movies, although it's usually, like video games often have it, like babies that were born during something being made. But I think it's more of a video game thing, isn't it?
Not just any
don't
baby,
think so.
though.
It's a movie thing.
Like a baby that has a connection to someone who worked on the film.
Right, I probably
Yeah,
should
they
have
don't
said
just
that.
make a list of all the babies that were born over the course of the years of development at the end.
Yeah. And they weren't
All
born
across the
on
world?
set. Like, they were just born during the production.
So it's not the movie's baby. It's not that the
Anyway,
movie met another
I
movie and went out and
also
had too much
played
wine. And
more of Outriders with my friend Sam. And it was a lot of fun. We did shooty people. I'm starting to appreciate the game's, I won't say writing, but I like the delivery of the main character because he's just a big idiot. And I think because I've made him really cute, like, I like what an idiot he is. And I'm not sure if the game thinks he's cool or not, because he like says all these real cool guy lines, like Vin Diesel style, but he just sounds like a moron when he does it. And it's endearing to me a little bit. He's like, "I'm just having a bad day." And he sounds so sleepy all the time. He's like, "I wasn't here to rescue you."
Sounds like Eeyore.
Yeah, he's kind of like a gruff cowboy Eeyore.
the game looks like Destiny meets Gears of War.
Yeah, but it's not. Oh, see, there's the thing that you got to know about the game is you think it's a cover-based shooter and you're always in cover, but actually the cover's for the enemies. And you should be using your abilities to stay out of cover as much as possible because you do way more damage if you're like chaining your abilities together. And fights will take 1,000,000 times longer if you stay in cover.
1,000,000 times. Wow.
Well, but like quite a bit longer. So the game like has so many attacks that push you out of cover. And you're like, so if you keep trying to do it, you're like, why am I always being pushed out of covers? Cause like you're playing the game wrong, bro. It twists it up. And, you can make a cute dude. It's really stupid. This game is very dumb. But I'm kind of enjoying it. And it plays well. I think the abilities are pretty neat. It feels very satisfying to like warp into an area and explode a bunch of bad guys at once. Yeah, thumbs up for that. What about you, Jim?
I just went, John. I nominated
What about
you, buddy.
You, Matt.
Gorsh. I actually have some bad news to share. I got stabbed.
No.
Stabbed in the arm.
Oh.
Stabbed in the arm with poison. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. Today I allowed the government to microchip me. That mercury-based barcode is swimming through my blood as we speak, reprogramming my mind to be a liberal sheeple and telling the government and Uncle Obama bin Biden exactly where I am at all times. So now they know when I'm in my living room or in my bedroom or in my living room, and then when I go to my bedroom, and then when I go to my living room. It's, oh boy, it's just comforting to know that Uncle bin Biden is looking down on me from his drones circling my home.
Is bin Biden, I don't have very many conservative American friends or family. So is this
It's a
something
bin Laden reference.
Yeah, but do they actually say that?
No.
Like, oh, okay.
They do
At least I
now.
don't think so.
It's going to take the internet by storm.
Bin Biden, I'm going to put that in my next special.
Anyway, it's weird. I was playing Kingdom Hearts today, and suddenly I liked it a lot. I don't know. I felt like my blood was telling me that I liked it. It felt weird, like there were radio waves in my teeth, but anyway, I love this game.
I got to your dose before they gave it to you.
Reprogrammed it. 10 out of 10 Kingdom Hearts right here. I love it.
Yep.
I also, listen, I know that our listener base and my favorite hobby don't intersect really, but I had 4 wins in a row in PUBG the other night, and I survived for one of them. So you could say I'm a pro gamer now.
Do you have any friends who maybe got the last kill in one of those games by doing something super awesome that you want to shout out on the show?
No, I don't. Vanessa, how did you level up?
I watched a documentary on the YouTubes from CNA, which is a news-ish network out of Singapore. I forget what it sounds for. Central News Asia, something like that. It was about the Ruby Princess, which was the sort of first cruise ship to really be impacted by the COVID virus. And it had a whole bunch of like filmed footage from people who were on board and trapped on the ship and what that was like. And it was about the people and who worked on it too and their experiences trying to get off the ship. And it was very interesting and pretty scary. And by coincidence, HBO Go has put out a documentary also about this ship and this incident. But I didn't watch it because I had just watched the YouTube documentary. So if you're like me and you're starting to get that travel itch, and you're looking at how cheap everything is now, especially cruises, as the cruise ship industry starts to open up again, treat yourself to that, and maybe you won't feel the same way anymore.
But weren't you just talking about how much you want to go on a cruise, like,
Yes!
today?
Yes, it didn't work. Okay, it didn't really work to deter me. I don't really want to go on a cruise. I just want to go somewhere. I just want to go somewhere. And like Matt, I am a half-vaxxed, and I am looking forward to being a full-blooded, vaccinated person, and maybe have a little bit more liberty to move about the world. It's going to be glorious just in time for summer, which is too hot, so I do not leave my house anyway. But people out there, maybe you're scared to get this vaccine, because I've heard people say that. Some people don't get the annual flu shot, so maybe they aren't as familiar with being poked by the needle, or maybe they is scared of the side effects. Do it anyway. It's no big deal. Just do it. I know some people who've had side effects. You know what? It's not as bad as COVID.
Bleep,
So-
bloop.
Do it.
The vaccine is good for you. Bloop, blop, glorp,
Here's
bleep.
the thing about that. The government already knows where I live and where I work. and my phone number. And I always have my phone with me. And the phone is not only like a GPS device, it's a listening device. So if they are really that invested in knowing what I'm doing, they already know it. And honestly, they're not that invested because I don't do anything interesting.
Are you saying the government could be listening to us right now?
Yes, we're a podcast. They are welcome to download it and listen to it while they work. Do it.
Please do rate us 5 stars on iTunes.
To the flag and the United States of
Please
America.
rate and review us on iTunes.
We
And
have a
to
review from
the liberal
FBI.
republic
Yeah.
for which it stands. One nation under Obama with liberty and no guns for all.
Y'all see that Joe Biden, he has really high approval rating. It's like people realized he's actually doing stuff and they like it. Weird, huh?
Yeah.
Never heard of him.
Anyway, that's how I leveled up. But also, I did in PUBG have a tank, and there was another tank on the field, and so I rammed it with my tank, and they were trying to come out of the blue zone, and I pushed them back in, and it did cause one of their people to fall out of the tank because they were out of health, and it was glorious.
It was
Thanks.
pretty glorious.
That's how I leveled up.
And then you did an
right.
amazing in and out of the blue circle somebody win. It was great.
I did. I did.
Tricked him. Pro
I tricked
strat.
him. It was a
What's
pro
pro strat?
strat. Later that same evening, or perhaps the next evening, Matt referred to me by my screen name and not my real name.
Liv. Oh, I shouldn't say that. Well, it's not even your fault.
It's not really a secret.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was great. Our real selves are being taken over by our PUBG selves, and that's fine. Who cares? Let's
Bleep
move
bloop,
on.
the U.S. military is teaching me to kill conservatives.
Let's move on to Jiminy's Journal.
Jiminy's Journal. We should call it Jiminy's Journal.
We do have to.
Do we have to? We have to do this? Jim, was it on this show that you claimed that this opening video perfectly explained everything that came before this game?
I'm pretty sure, yeah.
in
If I didn't say it,
in what has turned out to be the wildest lie you've ever told.
Yeah, it was either on the show or in the group chat. But like,
Pretty embarrassing
I guess
for you.
it only makes sense if you already know what happened.
Oh yeah, like if you spent hundreds of
not an
hours digging into the
explanation.
lore. Listeners, we have a strict no spoilers rule for this season. We are not going to allow Jim to spoil this game by explaining to us all of the back matter that
No,
he
hold
knows
on.
because
That's not
he
a
read
spoiler.
the training manual that came if you unlocked all the secret puzzles in a cell phone game for the Japanese Palm Pilot that came out in 1994. It's not going to happen.
Okay.
We're not talking about it.
Okay. Well, I will not. I know John hasn't played it, so I'm not going to give any spoilers for anything that's revealed throughout the course of this game. But depending on how you guys feel, I do kind of want to reserve the right to fill in anything that happened between Kingdom Hearts 1 and Kingdom Hearts 2.
What I want you
No.
to do is ask all of us what we think happened in various points or what things mean, and
Okay.
then you rate us on like who got it the most correct.
Okay.
I think
that's a
that the
good
listeners couldn't see, but definitely felt my double thumbs down to everything you just said in their hearts, where there's light, you know? The light in their hearts could feel my thumbs down to everything that you want to do.
I think that a game should be able to stand on its own 2 feet. And if the
Yeah.
game does not make sense without playing a mobile game that you can only get in Japan, then it is not a game that makes sense.
Everybody knows that Square Roots has a hard and fast rule that we never discuss lore that's not presented in the game. That's always been the case.
Wait, does Square Roots have a hard-on fast rule?
It does when you're around, buddy.
Oh boy.
I don't even know what that could mean, to be
It's not,
perfectly
a,
frank.
it's not a rule, it's more of a suggestion.
It's more of just how we live our life, 1 mile at a time, you know?
Okay, so
Yep.
how would you guys
Quarter mile.
describe this opening movie?
Gibberish. Nonsensical.
the first part of
Rinoa's face is blurry.
the first part of it shows Sora. It shows like towards what happened in the last act of Kingdom Hearts 1, which is Sora arriving at Hollow
It shows
Bastion.
all of the cutscenes from Kingdom Hearts 1.
No,
it's
it
a
doesn't.
20-minute movie. We start with them on the beach. It works through him meeting them in Twilight Town or whatever.
Well, there's lots of like
Traverse Town.
dream transitions happening, but really it jumps in to like action.
We see
stuff
him meet
when
Donald and Goofy.
Sora, yeah, Sora hits Hollow Bastion.
Ain't no Hollow Bastion.
They find Kairi there, who's unconscious. If you remember, this is from Kingdom Hearts 1, where we fight Riku. It shows that. It shows Riku morphing into Ansem, which is kind of a hint at what's going on in Kingdom Hearts 2.
It's kind of a hint at what's going on in the entire
and,
series, because I think that every villain in this series is Ansem.
And let's see. It shows
Who's that
Kairi,
mysterious man? Ansem.
It shows Kairi growing up. And she's still like looking for Sora, I guess, because they got split up at the end of Kingdom Hearts 1 and they haven't seen each other. Then you see lots of cuts of different environments. So there's like Sora running up a tower, which is an allusion to Chain of Memories. And then eventually it shows Riku, Kairi, and Sora all together again on Destiny Islands. And then the bottom gives out, and then, oh no, there's Roxas. And he's falling into the darkness, and then it shows Sora again, and he sees Naminé. Naminé puts him in a big old shell.
It's like a big flower shell.
Yeah, it's like a
thing.
big flower egg thing, yeah.
It
Yeah.
really represents his sexual awakening, I think.
Yeah,
Ooh.
and to be
Ooh.
clear,
Puberty.
Roxas and Naminé are characters who we have never seen before.
Yeah, they are new characters. She's blonde. He is blonde. They are both blonde.
He looks like he just fell out of a
Thank you, John.
PacSun in the
Yeah.
1990s. Like, he looks like the living embodiment of those checkered Vans slip-ons.
Yeah.
If they were size 20s.
Size
they have
20s.
They have big feet. That's the joke.
Yeah, they have big feet and big hands, as Matt pointed out. They have giant hands, too.
They
So-
have
Yeah.
huge hands, like disturbingly large hands.
But not in a way I like. They're
No.
like, no.
No, they also have disturbingly large heads.
Yeah.
They look like bobblehead aliens. It's very strange.
They look like Tender Moments figurines again.
Yeah, they are all extremities.
All right, so this opening movie ends, and it cuts to two hooded figures talking on a beach.
Hooded seems like an under description.
They're wearing they're like hooded dusters that like have big zippers on the front, and then they have two hood pull drawstring things.
These get pulled all the way up to their chin, so you cannot see anything.
Yeah, you can't see the
of
face.
their face.
Yeah. One of them says
That's a normal way to dress, man.
Yeah.
one of them says, "What's your name?" The guy says, "My name's not important." And then the guy's like, "What's your name?" And then he's like, "My name is." And then it trails off, and then we get a transition to Roxas dreaming about Sora, and it says Sora. And then Roxas wakes up, and he's like, "Oh man, I had another dream about that weird looking kid and his dog man friend and his duck wizard."
Well,
And-
now I did notice they had some voice lines, right? And some of them were kid HJO, but one of them, which was like, I think a redone line from Kingdom Hearts 1, was now like adult HJO or like late teen HJO. So it was like, goes from
Get your heart is light.
to his voice breaks, I guess, while he's sleeping in the flower egg.
I guess so.
They just wanted to get that messy puberty out of the way, so they stuck him in a flower.
Yep.
Oh, they also when it shows. So in Roxas's first dream, it shows like the first kind of act of Kingdom Hearts 1, where they're hanging out on the Destiny Islands, and then a guy shows up, and it gets sucked into darkness. In the original game, it was Billy Zane who did the voice of Ansem and who did these lines in the beginning. They re-recorded them with another actor. Very noticeably not Billy Zane here.
Wonder why.
What? Is it Crispin Glover?
No. Why would it be Crispin Glover?
Because someone said there was someone named Crispin voicing, I think it's Roxas. It's someone from Boy Meets World, I think.
Oh, really?
Let me see. Because, this is another star-studded cast.
It says Jesse McCartney.
Oh, okay.
Jesse McCartney is...
He was in Dream Street.
What?
And, he was in Dream Street.
Is that a show? Is that a band? It
was a
film?
teen boy band, and then became a solo artist.
Cool.
He was in The Masked Singer in 2020.
Oh, wow. So, anyway.
He was in a movie with Ezra Miller called Keith.
Sweet. So, anyway, this game, like all proper JRPGs, opens with a little boy waking up in his room.
Crispin Freeman plays Setzer.
Oh.
Great. So it's, the classic wake 'em up opening, and that's how we know it's a JRPG. And we are, of course, after all this anticipation of getting a second Kingdom Hearts game, to see the Disney characters we know and love, and Sora, who we've come to know and love, we wake up as Roxas.
All right, so we open on day one. We get a little some text that says day one. Roxas wakes up and goes to the usual spot where all of his cool friends hang out. There's Dog Street Kid and Tall Skinny Kid and Girl.
Zell, Wedge, and Selfie, right?
Yes.
Actually, I believe it is Mike Pence is the Dog Street Kid. Hayner.
Mother is the girl.
Mother is the girl. Oh, jeez. Hayner's the tall, skinny kid, and Olette is the girl.
Dog Street Kid is literally, he's like this kind of chubby kid in a head, like a bandana or like a sweatband.
Yeah.
And he just has like a basketball jersey on that says Dog Street on it. Which
Dog Street is the name of the primary location in the game The Bouncer, which is another Square Enix title.
And apparently he looks like a character from a show that was a little too old to watch called The Magic School Bus.
Oh, I watched The Magic School Bus.
There's another kid with that, I think a fat kid with that haircut and hairband thing, but I don't know.
That's very 90s. Very 90s. So
which beloved Square Enix franchise or Disney franchise are these characters from?
I think these are originals. You would think they would. This is a great opportunity to use characters from a Final Fantasy, but they don't, which is silly.
I agree.
So someone was saying on my stream that all the Final Fantasy characters that are used in Kingdom Hearts are only ones that Nomura made.
Interesting.
Even one, and that's a little surprise for this chunker, one from Final Fantasy VI. And he only made one in Final Fantasy VI, I think. So,
interesting.
Yeah.
All right, so...
Is it Cypher?
No.
Is it Vivi?
No.
Is it...
Although I don't think he designed Vivi.
Is it Roxas?
Yeah, I don't think he did design Vivi. But anyway.
Is it Dog Street?
It's not Dog Street, because he did design the Bouncer.
That's a fun game. Anyways,
I heard it was terrible. I've never played it.
I thought it was fun.
I think this is fun.
Yeah, your taste is very suspect.
That's true. All right, so everybody's...
You liked Final Fantasy VIII. Ew.
All your friends are talking about how they're being accused of being thieves, and there's somebody going around stealing stuff, and they notice something is missing, but I guess because it was stolen, they no longer have the object and can even say the word.
Yeah, they're like, someone stole our... Wait, you can't say...
so hard at this because
they even stole the word.
Why can't you guys say?
Yeah, so they're like, we know who the real culprits are. It's probably that gang of miscreants that hangs out at the Sandlot. So they go there, and the miscreants are Fujin, Raijin from Final Fantasy VIII, Vivi from Final Fantasy IX, and Cypher from Final Fantasy VIII. Cypher's wearing like a mini vest that shows his belly button with a coat on over it.
His coat is sleeveless here, and instead of wearing a cowboy hat, he wears a beanie.
Yeah, Vivi's hat has an absolutely useless zipper mouth on the top of it.
Yeah, it's like the sorting hat.
Yeah, and Fujin and Raijin just look, I don't know. Fujin, which one is Fujin again?
The big guy.
Fujin's a big guy.
No,
He's wearing
Raijin's the big guy. Fujin's the lady.
Raijin is wearing like a tank top, and he's got, I don't know, he's probably got a tribal tattoo or something. And
yeah, for sure.
Yeah. And Fujin is wearing just like a, I don't know, it's like a pantsuit thing, kind of.
It's really exciting to see our favorite friends from Final Fantasy VIII back again. We thought we left them behind last week.
And I do like that Raijin still doing the one or two word sentences.
Yes, yeah. And although it is way more annoying to hear Raijin say, you know, after every sentence when you can actually hear it said out loud.
Yeah, it's pretty annoying. At this point, so all the storekeepers hate your gang, your little group. They're like, we can't believe you did this. How could you do this to us? And you talk to the lady who runs the candy store, this nice old grandma. And you're like, what's wrong? I can't believe you stole it. What'd you steal? My blank. So I would like to say, as a Jeopardy category or a Jeopardy answer, my blank, my guesses were, first, my lovely lady lumps, because you don't know what she's actually lost. And then my second guess was neck, back.
Can't say that on the podcast.
You can say it on the radio.
Bleep that out.
You've stolen my...
Okay, so when we meet Cypher, we decide to fight him. We win, and then I guess to celebrate, Pence decides to like take your picture with a Polaroid, and he gets the Polaroid, and a squiggly man shows up and steals it. And you chase the squiggly man. What?
Okay, because you're taking blank.
Yes. So
yeah. Okay, that makes sense.
You chase the squiggle man, and you get to like the front of this old mansion, and you decide to fight the squiggle man, but you can't hurt him until a magical keyblade appears in Roxas's hands.
But before you get the magical keyblade, you do get that choice of weapons. Does that first choice of weapons do anything? Because
I don't know.
Because you get like the Nerf bat, or like the Nerf sword,
or the Nerf staff.
Yeah. And then when you get the Kingdom Hearts Keyblade, you get another choice like this that's more like Kingdom Hearts 1.
Yeah, that's in a day or two.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. So we fight the Squiggle Man. We get our picture back, and it looks like the Squiggle Man has been stealing a bunch of pictures, and it turns out it's a picture of you and your friends.
Yay!
What?
And once they get it back, they can save photo again.
Yep. And then it cuts to a man whose face is wrapped in bandages, whose name is Diz, voiced by Christopher Lee.
It's fucking Christopher Lee.
It's a Valdo. Yeah, and I will not call him Diz. That is just Christopher Lee. And I do love the idea of Christopher Lee being paid to say all these things, like nominee and Organization 13. And
Nominee must disappear. That's a terrible Christopher Lee impression. It's not like Kermit
as
the
I was
Frog.
saying to Matt, he's been in lots of trash over his decades of work. Like he'll just, like most British actors will do whatever, and they will show up in the worst movies. And like, remember that Star Wars movie where he played Count Dooku and fought a frog? Mm-hmm.
But he brings his full commitment to whatever he's doing.
He does. He's very good as Christopher Lee in this game. Christopher Lee Voldo.
The worst part about that is that that with the way George Lucas names things, that wasn't like an accident. He was like, oh, he'll be like Mr. Poop.
You see, I'm going to call him Count Dooku because Dooku sounds like Dookie, which is like a mirror for, it's like a poetry. It rhymes with poop.
Get out of here, George
Kids
Lucas.
are going to love this movie.
This is not a KOTOR game. You're not welcome here. Get out.
Yeah,
Maybe
Christopher, I had your
Disney's-
original character named General Evil, but you took my parking spot, so now you're Count Dooku.
I'm very sorry, George. I just wanted that convenient space.
I didn't see your name on it.
Anyway, this guy's name is Diz. Uh-oh.
Diz.
His name is
What could
Diz,
that
and he's a
mean?
mummy.
Yeah, he's
He's
got
not a
face
mummy.
wrap.
He is a Voldo. John
There's
got
also-
it right.
What
He's
is
in
a Voldo? Why do you keep
He's in
saying
like
that?
a red leather belted gimp suit, basically.
Yeah.
It's cool.
I've got a lot of kinks, and I'm not afraid of sharing them.
Can we talk about how in this game suddenly everybody's wearing leather bondage gear? Was there leather bondage gear, guys, in Kingdom Hearts 1 that I've forgotten about?
No.
Not at
I mean,
all.
Diz, everybody in Organization 13.
Well, they got like bondage hoodies.
Yeah, who knows what's under those things?
And
Nothing is what I
There's
assume.
also there's another mystery guy here who I don't what does he do? He doesn't really do anything until the next day, I guess.
Yeah, he's just standing there in his black robe.
And I wasn't
Yeah.
sure because there's a reveal of two different mystery guys, and sometimes it's one guy, but I think sometimes it's a different guy. I got real.
Well, there's the two mystery guys on the beach that have not been explained from the opening, and then there's this mystery guy. So we're three mystery guys deep into the game already.
and they're all wearing the same robes.
They're all
right?
wearing the exact same thing.
Okay, cool.
All right, so now we cut to day 2. You get more memories at the beginning. Well, at the end of every day, you get like a progress announcement where it's like restoration at 28%. And then so you know something is going on. And so day 2, you get more memories. This one, Roxas runs into the mystery man. He finds a stick and he's like playing with the stick in an alley, which I guess is something kids do.
That is literally something I would have done.
Hang on. How old is Roxas, though? Like, they're like 15 or 16. They're not 10-year-olds. They're not
Yeah, that's
8-year-olds waving sticks around in the fucking yard.
I probably waved a stick or two at someone as a late teenager.
I mean, this town is basically empty. There's not a lot to do.
yeah.
Sure.
So he takes the stick.
That's true. There seems to be zero entertainment options in town.
He's
other
playing-
than the public
struggle.
skateboards that
Yeah.
they have left in every...
There's the struggle, Matt.
There's the
True,
struggle.
there is always the struggle. Oh,
Yeah.
boy.
And there's countless mini games, but he
Delivering
throws,
mail.
Yeah, he throws the stick and it hits the guy, and the guy just kind of walks off without saying anything. You find your friends, and they're like, "We want to go to the beach, but we need to spend today earning some money." So this is where you
There's
get
this
introduced.
long piece of dialogue where they're like, well, if I have 150 money and you have 88 money and we need 800 money each, then the total we have, it's like this blah, 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 and it does not matter at all.
No, yeah. So they tell you that you need a bunch of money, but actually you can just do like the easiest game, which is a mail delivery. You can just do that a couple times, and then just when you're finished, just go talk to Olette and say, "Yeah, I have enough." It doesn't matter if it's like 100 or 50. Just say, "I have enough," and then you'll always have 5,000 money at the end.
I will say that the mini games, they vary in quality. I would say
Yeah.
some are better than others. I did do every single mini game just to try them all. So we can talk about them in my corner.
Mail delivery involves the municipal skateboard system, which is super fun. Is the rest of this game going to be traversable by skateboard?
A lot of areas are actually. a lot of areas in every world have skateboards that you can fly
Unfortunately,
around.
it is a PS2 game, so every area is like the width of my bedroom.
Oh, yeah, for sure. They're all teeny tiny. They're all basically empty except for like 6 treasure chests. It's wild.
Just wait till you get to
barren
Agrabah, which is
and empty this place is.
Yeah.
Oh, I got to Milan today, Jim, and their rendition of the Mulan camp is the most embarrassing thing I've ever seen.
It's pretty bad. Let's see. So we do the mini games, and we get the money, and they're about to go buy the tickets. And some guy, Roxas trips and falls, and some guy helps him up, and then whoops. Mystery Man stole our money.
No,
Yeah, he's some guy. It's an Organization 13 guy picks him up and steals his money.
What's
You don't-
Organization 13? Because no one's introduced that
we
in the
have to-
game yet.
We will get to that. We'll get to that.
Vanessa, you
No, we
and
won't.
I have to tell Jim what we think by the end of
Right,
the
right, right.
episode. What we think
but what I'm
organization.
saying is it hasn't even shown up in the game. So why is Matt just dropping all this knowledge, violating his own rule?
We've already
heard.
we've already named them Organization 13.
Yeah,
That's
like
not
Christopher
new
Lee
information.
says it a bunch, and Roxas talks about it.
Like, there's
Is that
organization miscreants.
All right, we can't keep doing this. There's a legitimate, important mystery that we have to solve in this episode, gang. We're the Scooby Gang tonight. We have a mystery to solve, but we got to get to it. So let's get to it.
Meet interesting people.
So,
There's a mystery to be solved.
this
Adventure
day-
is unfolding, so why not get involved? Dun, dun, dun.
So this day
Operation
ends
13.
with all the friends eating sea salt ice cream, dangling off of a terrifyingly tall tower. This is not safe for children.
Let's
These
be
kids
clear
should
about
not
one
be allowed
thing
there.
here. Eating sea salt ice cream is not what they do. Number
just having
one,
popsicles.
they clearly have popsicles. And number two, they don't eat it. I don't know what they do to it. But I've been practicing this because I need you guys to understand. Every time it shows one of them eat one, it just holds it up to their little black void mouths. And it goes, and I'm gonna work real hard to get this sound for the mic and for you guys.
Have fun editing that.
Shivers down my spine.
It's a nightmare.
My favorite part about this is, so after we see them doing whatever they're doing with their mouths, it cuts to Diz and the mystery guy back at their like Matrix computer station. And
I don't think they actually named Diz as Diz, like, to his face ever. Like, I figured out with context clues that
He says his
was
name.
Diz.
he says
Does
his
he?
name. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he tells you his name.
Isn't
and-
it Diz, but it's like capital D, lowercase I, capital Z?
Yeah. But like they're talking, and Mystery Man has the bag of money that he stole from Sora, and he's like, "That's just useless data. You don't have any use for that." And then he this is my favorite part. He turns around and looks at Mystery Guy, and he's like, "Maybe you can buy some sea salt ice cream."
Christopher Lee, ladies and gentlemen.
That was an
It's
ad
also
lib.
worth pointing out that a lot of these transitions are accompanied with like the world getting digitalized kind of looking and then fading to television static.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's a big
so-
visual clue as to what's going on.
Yeah, it's like, is this a
Wink.
Truman Show or is this a Matrix?
It's
Yeah.
a Matrix. So
I
the
don't
Truman
know.
Show, you're in the real world, but in this, they're in a digital world. They're in the Matrix.
I don't know.
Well, we'll
because-
talk about it when we get to the end of the episode.
Okay.
Okay, so day 3, Roxas has a vision of Naminé in his dreams, and
Well, okay. So one thing that Christopher Lee says is he doesn't want them to go to the beach. I think, doesn't it imply that he doesn't have time to like program or set up
Yeah.
the beach?
Yes, yeah.
Which
They've
is very
only-
Truman Showy, because one of the big things in the Truman Show is they just don't have time to like build other sets, so they keep trying to keep Jim Carrey in the island. And
But it
like,
could also be true if it was a video game because he literally didn't want to have to like animate a new environment.
right.
Much like the designers of this video game, because we are stuck in this town for a long time.
Wasn't this also a Dark City thing?
Yeah, kind of.
Like the beach, wasn't there a whole thing of he wanted to go to the beach?
Oh, they all had memories of the beach, yeah.
Yeah.
That's a
But
good
they
movie
could
too,
never
actually.
ever get
Like,
there.
legit.
That's a great movie, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so Roxas wakes up.
Up
he
there
thinks
with
he sees
Gattaca.
Naminé. Yeah.
Right, guys?
No.
Gattaca's
it's-
great.
I've never
Dark
seen
City
Gattaca.
is way better than Gattaca.
Oh, Dark City, yeah.
Gattaca is weird. It's good.
So, where was I? Oh, yeah. Roxas is having visions of Naminé. He wakes up and he finds a note from Hainer that says, "Hey, we want to go to the beach. Let's get ready to go to the beach." You see Pence and Olette, and they're shopping, and time stops. And Naminé shows up and says, "I just wanted to meet you one time. Good to meet ya. Gotta go." And then time unfreezes, and Roxas decides to go to the Sandlot. Oh no, he sees a squiggly guy. He sees a squiggly man, and he goes to the Sandlot, and Cypher and his buds are there, and they're like, "Oh no, we got to fight these like squiggle guys." And then time freezes again, and Naminé shows up, and she's like, "Use your keyblade." And right as one of the squiggle guys is about to get you, Roxas is transported to like this big like pedestal that's got a stained glass picture of Sora on top, and this is where you choose your kind of specialty.
This is the exact same as the opening to Kingdom Hearts.
Yeah.
You have to go to this weird
yes.
stained glass world.
I think
Now, I
think
do
this is
object
cool.
for you that you are calling Roxas you, because I will never associate with being Roxas.
Roxas
okay, I'll just say
is
Roxas.
fine. He's just a little boy.
Yeah. The only problem I have here is what happens at the end. Like, Roxas is fine. Like, let's go. Roxas is fine.
Yeah. Roxas.
I mean, I hate his costume, but I hate all the costumes. His is particularly, like, 2000s pop punky, though. Like, he's got one black ring and one white ring.
that's true.
He's got a
Roxas
big X
loves
zipper
ska.
on his button down. He's got a button down collared shirt on, buttoned up to the neck, and then like a half white jacket over that. And it's all got black and white checks on
Roxas
it.
is like
loves
into
the half jacket.
Yeah,
It's a
Roxas is
zip up.
into.
It's not a button down though. It's a zip up shirt because he does have it zipped up to the neck, and there is a big X zipper on it.
Yeah.
Roxas
And
loves
he has,
ska
hang on,
punk.
we need to keep talking about this because
Hold
he
on.
also has
Okay.
chaps, motherfucker. He wears chaps.
Yeah, that's cool.
Does have chaps.
It's cool.
No, I'm just kidding. It's not cool.
Did I say cool? I mean, yeah. I just need to go to my closet and clear something out.
He's gonna close
are
the door to the closet behind him.
I'm gonna take
Doing
my phone
a
with me. I'll be back in
disservice
like
to
10
this
minutes.
game by not describing some of these characters because they look fucking crazy.
So
You know?
this is like tutorial time where we learn more about combat. We learn how to use reaction commands, which is like a contextual command that pops up in your little menu. Press triangle to do the reaction command. This is like
Quick time
opening
event.
doors and chests and combat stuff. It's like a little
There's a one
QTE.
later on that really confused me that's like dual mode.
Oh,
and like
that one's like
I
a
didn't
roulette.
understand it.
So like you press the button and all of your options blank out, and you have to guess which one the button's going to land on. And if you get it right, then you'll instantly kill the enemy.
What are you talking about?
No, I don't know. We'll talk
I know
about
what
it.
he's talking about. Yeah.
That didn't
do those.
happen.
That's a reaction command for the little sword
The
guys.
only way the reaction command is often useless to me, but the one that is really good is the reversal because it just lets you keep chanting your combo forever.
Reaction commands later will let you absolutely obliterate groups of enemies. So keep your finger on that triangle button or that Y button.
There's not. It's very forgiving. There's no fail state, so you can just sit there and slam that button.
Oh yeah, you can
during
just
event-
spam that thing the whole time. Yeah,
during
nobody's
quick time
stopping
events,
you.
which is great.
And so we go through all this stuff, do a couple battles, and then we have to fight like a giant squiggle man that you can only defeat with reaction commands. And this sucks because it makes you go through 2 cycles of this thing, which are exactly the same, which is a real bummer.
Well, that actually brings up what I think is one of the biggest problems with this game and with this whole series, which is that all of the enemies have way too much fucking health. These
Yeah.
things should be like one combo kills, and they're all 2 or 3 combo kills, and then they come in waves, and I want to kill myself.
Are you playing this on easy?
No, I rarely pick easy. Can I turn it down? I don't think I can. I think I'm stuck.
No, once you start the game, you're kind of locked into a difficult
Yeah, I'm
setting.
playing on normal. It doesn't seem super hard. I got killed once accidentally.
It's not hard. It just takes for fucking ever to get through each combat scenario, and I don't like that in games. I like fast combat. I want to get that, you see me do it. We talk about it all the time when we talk about the turn-based RPGs and like setting up strategy where you're attacking the whole field at once or hitting a weakness the first time, like in a Persona game, just because I don't want to have to sit there and fight. I want to get through it very quickly. I don't have a lot of patience for this shit.
Well, so we beat Giant Squiggle Man, and then Roxas gets sucked into the darkness. Naminé pulls him out into like this weird white Naminé room. And she starts to tell him stuff, and then Mystery Guy shows up, and he's like, "No, don't do that." And then he throws Roxas into a portal. He wakes back up in the Sandlot, and he goes to see his friends, and they're all mad at him because he forgot about Beach Day.
The whole day's over, I guess.
Yeah, the whole day's
over. They assume
over.
that he was hanging out with Cypher all day.
Yeah.
So that's cool.
And also, Roxas pulls kind of a dick move here. Earlier, the day before, he made a promise with Hayner that they would do the struggle tournament and both make it to the finals so that they could split that sweet prize. And then Roxas goes up to Hayner and he's like, "Hey, maybe we can just do the beach tomorrow." And Hayner's like, "No, I have some place to be." Roxas totally forgot about the promise.
He's
that he
just
made.
out of it. He's going through something. Monsters are attacking him.
Kid.
A magic sword is appearing in his hand. He went to another world. He's a little confused.
That's
He
true.
never tells anyone about what happens to him. That's like a Roxas trait.
Yeah,
He tries to at one point. Coming up, he talks about when they talk about the paper they have to do. He's like, "Can we do it about what's happening to me because I'm really scared, guys?" And they're like, "No, we don't care about your problems."
Oh yeah, they have like an independent studies homework assignment. And so it cuts to, this is the end of day 3, cuts to Diz and Mystery Guy again. They're talking about Naminé, and Diz says Naminé is out of control. They got to do something about her, and then it's done. Day 4 is the day of the struggle tournament. Struggles like just where people beat each other up with foam bats, and every time you land a hit, a bunch of balls pop out, and you got to collect the most balls by the end of the round.
And Vivi's back, and Vivi's gonna fight, and I was so excited seeing Vivi there. I love
Vivi. I don't like Vivi having a voice. That bothers me.
I think the voice just wasn't what I expected. Vivi's voice.
It's
I
just
thought
a
Vivi would
cutesy
have-
Disney voice.
have,
He
like-
talks like Mickey.
I thought Vivi would have like more of a droopy dog voice.
Thanks for going, B.
Yeah,
That's
that'd be a
struggle.
perfect voice.
But it's more like, "Hey guys, hi, Phoebe."
So there's a tournament. Let's see. First fight is Roxas and Hayner, and Roxas beats Hayner. Then next, Vivi
wins.
fights
Fatality.
Cypher. And
Hang on. You need to describe what struggle is.
I did.
And you need to. It's so stupid. It's just a fight.
It's just the combat of the game.
It's just
Bubbles.
a fight, but bubbles pop out of people, and you have to collect the bubbles.
And there's a
the
very
best part
strict time
the
limit.
AI does not try to go after the bubbles at all.
No,
So even if you're getting hit, you can just go pick your bubbles up. It's really dumb.
Yeah.
I will say there's a sort of touching little moment where Roxas is squaring off against Zell, because that's who it is. I refuse to accept that it's not. And he's like, "Hey, we're best friends, and I'm really sorry." And then Hayner's like, "What? You're mad about that still? You're dumb." And then Roxas is like, "I'm just going through a lot." And Hayner's like, "Oh, I'm sorry." It's like, "Wait, why am I apologizing?" Ha ha ha. And so it was kind of cute, because it's sort of set up that like Hayner's all mad at him, but he forgives him very easily.
I agree, Vanessa. I love this gang. They're a delightful little Goonies troupe. Terrible clothes, dog street, but this is a great game at this point, right? Like, we love this. If you take out the weird cutscenes of other stuff that happened to Sora, I think I like this game more.
Mm-hmm.
And you gotta take out Diz and all the Matrix stuff.
Yeah.
And it's just a game about Roxas.
So,
why can't this game just be about Roxas?
Well, Matt, might I suggest you play Kingdom Hearts 358 over 2 days?
No, you
That's
may
all
not
about
suggest that to me. Thank you. Sorry.
Which is
that's
the one
not a
that
suggestion
came
at
out
all.
on the PSP?
Kingdom Hearts Dream Drop Distance, which I think was a DS, wasn't it?
That was
Dream Drop
3DS.
Distance was 3DS, yeah.
But wasn't there one on PSP as well?
I don't think so. Doesn't
Wasn't
ring a bell.
the Recoded remake that's on the collections now originally on the PSP?
Yeah. Recoded is on the collections, but it's not playable. It's just like a text novel or a visual novel thing you have to watch.
What?
No, isn't it Chain of Memories Recoded or whatever?
Oh, Birth by Sleep is the one I was thinking of.
Birth
And
by
that-
Sleep is on the PSP?
Yeah, that's
Vanessa.
where it came out.
Oh.
Do you want to buy a locker?
I don't know if a locker is going to do it. And I can't even blame you guys. It's just hearing the names of these stupid games makes me so mad.
I agree. I'm willing to cut you a deal on a dumpster.
You know, for once, Vanessa wants to put people in a locker, and it's not me. It's always
She
been
wants
me.
to put the people that created Kingdom Hearts in a locker.
Yeah.
Yep. In a locking dumpster.
In a locked dumpster. There may be a fire involved.
Okay, so Vivi fights Cypher and wins, and Cypher's like, "That's not Vivi. You need to bust that guy up."
You need to chill out, bro.
So we fight Vivi, and right at the very end, Vivi morphs into a squiggle man, and then there are more squiggle men. You get a keyblade, you got to beat up some squigglies, and then Axel shows up, who's another jacket-wearing hooded man, but he's not wearing his hood. He's got bright red hair and has, like, bladed pinwheel things and does fire stuff.
Yeah, it's sort of
things.
like
Number one.
Yuffie's weapons.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Two things. Number one, Axel looks like he would fit right into the 1990s Age of Apocalypse crossover, and I dig it. Number two, those pinwheels look like terrible weapons to have to wield.
Yeah, they
Do you know
do.
how often he cut himself? Do you think those little purple scratches under his eyes are like tattoos? Or do you think that he's just cut it so many times that the scars are black now?
Could be that.
That's grim.
Because he just keeps poking himself in the face. I bet his whole body is covered in little spots.
So Axel
'Cause he
shows
stabbed
up
himself.
and he's like, "Roxas, you gotta come with me. You're number 13, the Keyblade's chosen one." And then Dish shows up and he's like, "Don't listen to that guy." And then they both, in a weird moment, start yelling, "Roxas, Roxas, Roxas!"
Yeah, it's really fucking weird.
And then Roxas like freaks out, and then he yells his friend's name, Hainer, Pence, Olette, and then he's back to reality. Or his reality, I guess. And then Vivi wakes up and was like, "Whoa, what's going on, guys?"
It just toddles off.
Yeah, and then you get to the championship match, and it's against a man named Setzer, very fancy-looking gentleman.
This was so exciting. Setzer, as listeners will recall, is the character from Final Fantasy VI who decides that he is going to kidnap a woman and force her to marry him. So great to see him here in a fun kids game.
Yeah, Setzer also tries to bribe you into taking a dive in this match.
He's a notorious gambler.
And
I just like him because he believes in a trad wife, Vanessa.
You know what?
Trad wife.
What's a trad wife?
A traditional woman.
I wish I hadn't asked.
all right, well, we beat Setzer,
Gorsh.
and we win the Struggle tournament, and we get this weird-looking trophy that's got these, like, marbles that pop out. We go back to the tower where we ate ice cream or sucked on the popsicles, whatever. And everybody gets a little ball, and everybody's happy. And then I think it's Pence pulls some more popsicles out of his pocket, and he's like, "Hey, let's eat these." And you go to grab one, and Roxas falls off of the tower and presumably dies.
Yeah, you just see him falling off, staring in horror. And
the rest of the game is Roxas's death fantasy.
it's
just like all that
fantasy he has while he's falling to his death. Would you all eat that sea salt ice cream?
No.
Sure. It looks, those popsicles that are red, white, and blue? It looks like the blue from one of those popsicles. And that blue is tasty.
It does, but the idea of eating that blue, but it's salty, is gross.
But you eat saltwater taffy, don't you, Jim?
I don't like really overly salty things. Anything that's very salt forward, I'm not a big fan of.
What about Pringles?
As long as they're like flavored, they're like just like regular salty boys. I'm not into that.
What if they're flavored with sea salt and vinegar?
So when do we get the little cutscene with Kyrie and Selfie? Because that was...
I think that's at the end of this day.
Okay.
I just didn't put... Did I not put it in the notes? I don't think I did.
Well, we'll talk about it at the end of this day.
Okay, so this is the end of the day. So Roxas falls off the tower. There is a cutscene that's either at the end of yesterday or today, but you get this cutscene of Kyrie and Selfie like leaving their school.
So Selfie like Olette Selfie?
Selfie from Final Fantasy VIII, who's
Olette.
Olette's not Selfie.
But she is.
But there's actual Selfie, Vanessa. That's the thing, right?
Yeah,
that
now
she's
there's
there
real Selfie.
with the hair.
That's true.
It's definitely Selfie. Like that cat. And she's wearing it's like a modern day anime. She's wearing a schoolgirl uniform like Kyrie is. And so this is where you get the backstory, because this answers a bunch of our questions from Kingdom Hearts 1. Because they are looking out over, you see Destiny Island, and they're like, we don't go back there anymore. Remember that boy we used to hang out with? And Selfie's like, oh, Riku? She's like, yeah, Riku, but also the other boy. The other boy? And she's like, I don't remember.
Yeah, there's no other boy.
Yeah. You get the sense that she's like forgotten. Like everybody's forgotten about Sora is kind of the thing that you're starting to understand. But like people are beginning to remember stuff about it. So like Roxas is dreaming about it, and you'll learn about how all this is kind of connected in a bit. But what happens at the end of this scene, John?
Not much. She's trying to remember it, and then I think it cuts back to Roxas waking up, and he says Sora.
So the next day, which is day 5, is this is 7 Wonders Day.
7 Wonders Day, day 5. So these kids remember suddenly that they have to do some kind of essay over the summer as their summer homework. And they're like, oh no, we forgot to do our summer homework. What do we do? And they decide to do their homework about these 7 mysterious phenomena that happen around the town. Essentially urban legends. So the first one that they want to investigate is there are reportedly some steps by this train station that count differently going down than they do going up. So everyone hops aboard the train and choo-choos out to Sunset Station, which is a new part of town. Very exciting to have access to a new area. And in this area, we have lots of different wonders to investigate. But first we go to the steps. And Pence is like, yeah, these are the steps. And Roxas is like, okay, guess it's time to count them. And then Pence is like, actually... you know that idiot that hangs out with Cypher? What's his name? Yeah, Raijin. He's the one who counted the steps, and
or Fujin. I don't remember.
He just counted wrong because he's dumb. And Sora's like, oh well, mystery solved. Let's move on to the next one.
I did count the steps, and they do count the same going up as they do going down.
Well, mystery solved. So what's the next wonder, John?
The next one I did was the wall where balls float out of the wall. It's called like the friend in the wall that throws balls at you. And it's like a little mini game where you have to dodge balls and then touch the wall.
This seemed to me to be like a Japanese game show.
Like a Wipeout.
Yeah, exactly. I've seen
Like
this
a
show.
Takeshi's Challenge.
Because you have to reach the back of the wall and touch it, but if one of these balls hit you, they will knock you back. So you have to like fit yourself in the holes between the balls.
So I went to, I was talking to the various townsfolk here in what's this part of town called? Sunset Hills?
Yeah, something like that.
One guy's like, "Oh, do you ever go up to Sunset Point to watch the sunset? I used to go there with my wife and we'd..." Well, maybe I'll tell you when you're older. I mean, it's
Old
nothing
man.
major. Just finger stuff. Don't worry about it.
Old man.
Gross.
That's inappropriate.
John, you need to apologize to our listeners. You need to apologize to me.
I'm sorry.
But
Sorry.
most
listeners.
importantly, you need to apologize to Vanessa.
Well, but isn't that... It wasn't me. It was the old man.
John,
It wasn't me.
Was it the old man?
Yes. I have a screenshot of him talking about finger stuff.
Well, I guess if you do, you do. There's nothing I can say to disprove it now.
Yep.
John has the evidence.
Yep. It's just back at home. I have it on my fridge. I'll go
Sure.
home and get it later.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's all in my notes, Vanessa.
Yeah. Okay, no
John,
problem.
I don't think this business card is real. This isn't credible to me, John.
This is just a business card that says finger stuff on it.
This just says finger stuff. And it's wet.
So the other thing, the other one there is in this tunnel. And you get there, and there's a Vivi, and I'm always happy to see Vivi. Did we mention that at the end of the tournament, Vivi's like, "How'd I get here?"
Does Vivi have a monster hat in 9? Did I forget? The
Yeah,
hat
it
on his
looks
head
like-
has a mouth?
Yeah, I don't think it's like that in 9, but I could be wrong. Vanessa, as
Just had to
the
add a fucking zipper somewhere.
foremost Vivi expert,
Yeah.
what's up with Vivi's hat in 9? Did it have a mouth?
You guys wouldn't let me play Final Fantasy IX, as I recall.
Oh, you're right.
That's right.
You were like,
I tried so hard. I mean, John tried so hard to keep her off the show in that first season. It was so sad.
and it worked.
So,
He just
there-
kept doing that Janeway impression. It was really obnoxious.
You better have something a little bigger in your torpedo tubes. So, Vivi is there, and then Vivi turns into many Vivis, and they attack you, and you're like, I don't want to hurt you, Vivi, but gah. But then you defeat Vivi, and suddenly it's just Vivi, and Vivi's like, what? What's up? And then walks away, and then, Mike Pence comes in, and Mike Pence is like,
Dog Street. His name is Dog Street.
Oh, I guess it was just Vivi this whole time. But then as Vivi's walking away, Vivi turns into a weird guy in a weird squiggly suit.
Yeah. And sort of does, I'm sorry, Roxas does kind of try to explain what happened and be like, no, there were lots of VVs. And the guy's just like, what? You're dumb.
This part is boring. Boring.
Vanessa did tell me, oh, you should try sketching on the train that runs through this part of town.
Mm-hmm.
And so I pressed the sketch button, which is the triangle. And you do hop up, and there is a treasure there. So that was great. So what was the other mystery? There's
the waterfall.
Ooh, and then a Link-style dark Roxas comes out and fights you. It was very spooky. And then then there's the mysterious bag on top of the hill, which
Yeah,
turns
that's the
out to
best
be a dog in the bag. Ooh. Is that all of them? Did I miss one?
Yeah, there's all of those, and then they're like, well, there's the last one, and let's all gather on Sunset Hill to see the ghost train. It's a
Ooh,
train
I like this one.
with no driver and no passengers.
This is very Harry Pottery, because so they're all waiting, and then Cypher comes up, and Cypher's like, "Hey, what are you snot bags doing?" And
Yeah,
you're
hey
like,
losers, what's up?
"We're just waiting for this ghost train. You know the urban legend." He's like, "Well, that's stupid. Why don't we fight?" And then Rox is like, "Yeah, I feel like it's like we have to be enemies. Like it's my destiny." And Cypher's like, "Destiny, huh? Well, why don't we be friends instead? Because I hate destiny.
Yeah.
I'd rather like screw destiny." And you're like, "Oh, okay, that's fine with me."
Yeah, so then he leaves, and he's like, bye. More like Destiny's Child.
Oh,
yeah.
Kelly, take that, Kelly Rowland. So the ghost train comes. Vanessa, do you like a ghost train?
Yeah, I love a ghost train. It's great. I see them sometimes, not so much anymore because I stay inside all the time. But, you know, like the sign is like the train's coming, and then it's like no service, no service, no service. And you can never see the drivers anyway because the windows are tinted. So then it's like maybe they're not even in there. And then this train just goes by and the lights are out and nobody's on it. And you're like, oh my gosh, it must be a ghost train.
Then after seeing so you do go back and you do see Ghost Train, but by you, I don't mean me because I'm not Roxas, but Roxas sees the Ghost Train and it's like, hey guys, whoa. And then like chases after it and his friend's like, what? And he chases after it all the way to the station. He's like, let's get on. But then, Zell stops him from getting onto the train, is like, whoa. And Roxas is like, what? And Zell's like, well, you're going to hurt yourself, man. Because there's no train there.
Whoa.
But it was like this super gaudy, like looks like the stars on Yensid's hat kind of train.
Yeah.
It's not gaudy. It's beautiful. I loved it.
It's a Disney train.
It is definitely
It's a Disney train.
It's a D train to D town, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, and I want to ride it.
Did you like how the regular trains in Twilight Town have that like froggy thing over the doors where it looks like a frog face? It's like two lights with a weird mouth. It looked like a froggy face to me. Anyway, so they decide that it must have not been. What was their reasoning behind that other train? Because they didn't see it, but they're like, oh, well, the rest, we'll just say that it was fake. And then they go to check out the last one at the mansion. And so they go to the mansion, and there on the mansion, they're like, oh, there's supposed to be a girl that appears in the window. And Roxas looks up to the window and sees a girl.
Whoa.
And he has like a vision.
A vision of him talking to the girl. And she's like, yeah, I'm Nominee. Like, yo, what's up, Nominee?
A lot gets explained here in this scene.
Does it?
Yes, it does.
What does she explain?
Okay, so you get like Roxas cam for a second where you're kind of looking around her all-white room and there's sketches on the walls, and as Roxas looks at them, he realizes that there are some that he recognizes. So he looks at one that's Sora, Donald, and Goofy, and Nominee's like, do you know them? And he goes, yeah, it's Sora, Donald, and Goofy. I know them from the dreams that I have. And Nominee explains that she had to, and I wrote this down word for word as it's in the game. She says that something happened and she had to take apart the memories chained together in Sora's heart, which is an illusion.
Anything?
Oh, hold on.
Something happened?
Hold on. I did. It's an all-white room.
It's like a Matrix room. It reminds you a lot of the Matrix.
And she says it's taken her a long time, but Sora's almost back to his old self. And she also says that the process has been affecting Roxas. So the reason why everyone is starting, or everyone close to Sora, which includes, Kyrie and Roxas, the reason why they're beginning to remember Sora more is that as his memories are put back together, because of Naminé's power, which affects not only Sora, but those close to him, they are beginning to have their memories of Sora pieced back together as well.
Okay. It's like the photos.
I don't think that the game explains that, though.
Well, yeah,
She does
there is some dialogue that explains the photos as well. So when the squiggly guys show up, there's a cutscene with Diz and Mystery Guy, and Diz is like, "Oh, they found us," but they what the squiggly guys are trying to do is like make sure Sora can't get his memories back, but because they're in like this digital matrix world, the squiggly guys can't tell the difference between something like a photo and like a real memory because it's all data. So they're like, it doesn't matter, they can't get at the real memories, they just think they're stealing memories, but they're just stealing data. It's not the most easily understood thing, I understand, but that's how they explain it.
I thought it was that they were trying to get Roxas, but they couldn't tell the difference between Roxas and a photo of Roxas.
I guess it could be that too. I understood it a little bit differently, but I guess it could be that as well. Because like Axel's definitely trying to get at Roxas, but I think at this point you don't really understand the connection between Axel and the Squiggly Boys.
So then Roxas is like, "Well, what do you know about me?" And she's like, "Oh, I can't explain everything now, but you were never supposed to exist." And he's like, "What? How could you say that?"
Yeah.
And she's like, "Well, I'm sorry." So it's like, you can never say, even if it's true, you don't say that to a person.
Yeah.
It's like you don't want your parents to tell you that you're a mistake and proof that the rhythm method doesn't work. Which they love to tell that story.
So we cut back to Roxas back with Mike Pence, and he's like, "Oh, I saw her. Look in the window," and it's actually just the curtains blowing. They're like, "Oh, must have been an illusion." And they go back to their usual spot, and they say, "Oh, there's only 2 more days left in vacation. Summer's almost over." And we cut back to Diz and Mystery Guy. Mystery Guy says the haze in his own memory is clearing up, so that's a little hint as to who Mystery Guy is.
Well, doesn't he?
Yes, it is.
Well, but he also takes off his hood at some point.
And he does. I think it's right. Is it right here? No, it's not right here.
Or is it next? Maybe it's the next day.
Yeah, he does definitely. Well, so John,
I think it's here. I think it's here.
So so Mystery Guy takes his hood off, and who is under the hood?
It's Ansem.
But is it?
I don't know.
He says he's Ansem, and then the other guy is like, "Ha ha ha!
Yeah.
Well, nice to meet you, Ansem.
You're an handsome stranger, you is."
Yeah, so that's a thing. So that's a gas moment. And Mystery Guy is like, what do you want from all this? And Diz is like, I want revenge.
Ooh, Diz is mad.
He's hardcore. So day 6, you cut to the 2 hooded guys on the beach again. One of the guys was like, I've been to see him.
Can I tell you that when the day 6... Yeah, this is why I stopped him right there. Can I tell you that when the day 6 thing came up, I wanted to fucking die. I wanted to die. Day 6?
Matt messaged me at one point.
Day?
He sent me a message at one point, and he's like, "There better not be a day 5." And I was just like, "You sweet summer child."
And I got pissed at day 4 because listen, like you do things in threes. Like I'll do 3 days, but to then be like day 4, I was like, no. All right, well they don't know how to do this because this game is paced terribly. It's all just like, hey, walk it through this small room. All right, now here's 20 minutes of cutscenes. All right, now fight in this small room for a minute. Okay, here's some more cutscenes. Now walk back through that room again. All right, here's some more cutscenes and one more fight, and here's some cutscenes. It's crazy bad how much time you just spend sitting there going, ugh. Anyway, day 6.
Yes. So we have the two mystery dudes on the Darkness Beach again. One of them says, "I've been to see him. He looks a lot like you." And then we see a vision of like a dude with two keyblades fighting in a city. This is a flashback, I think.
Yeah, a shockingly tall dude. You know?
Yeah.
It's a pretty tall guy, actually, that's fighting with two keyblades.
Yeah, and then he runs up a building because he sees a guy on top, throws this guy the other keyblade, and then they fight some Heartless together.
This guy looks like Riku, but he's blindfolded. So
Yeah, this is a guy that I meant to Google him before the show. I don't know who this guy is.
Oh, that's
You
Ansem.
have to Google
Ansem.
him.
I don't
You've
know.
Played
I don't know
this
who that
game
guy is.
before, Jim, like 8 times.
If you're
Listen,
if you're
I'm
gonna
sure-
commit if you're gonna commit yourself to Kingdom Hearts, you're gonna have to do some Googling.
I'm not
Yeah,
going to.
nobody said they were
This
committing
game-
themselves to Kingdom Hearts.
This
I'm
is
just
just the
saying,
beginning.
if you want
I'm
to,
sure,
I'm not saying you should.
I have full faith that this game by the end will explain all these cutaways and who these people are.
John, let's just lower your expectations a little bit. Bring him down.
So Daredevil Riku and assuming Ansem fight.
Well, okay. So yeah, okay.
First
well,
they fight some squiggly men, but then
Yeah.
they turn and fight each other.
Whoa.
Yeah, and then the silver hair guy is like,
can
"Why
I just
do you get
rewind
the Keyblade?"
things
Yeah.
just a little bit and say that when Jim said, when we said it's Ansem and Jim said, "Is it?" Despite the fact that the guy pulled his fucking hood down and it looked like Ansem and he said, "My name's Ansem." I just want to point out, Jim, that's spoilers. You're not allowed to make those. You're not allowed to do that.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
against the
That's
rules.
what I'm saying, but like the game has dropped hints about who
It
this
has
guy is.
not.
It is-
It has. It has.
Jim.
It already dropped a big one.
Jim,
it's
he took
already
his
dropped
hood
a big
off
one.
and it was Ansem, and he said, "My name is Ansem." So don't come in here like, "Well, but are you sure?" Like this is a Sherlock Holmes novel. Okay, this is a Disney movie. He said his name is Ansem. He looks like the guy
maybe
Ansem
it's
that we
dropped
killed.
hints in the way of like when you know the twist, you can go back and watch the movie again and be like, "Oh yeah, there were clues." But
It's
this
like
is
The
the
Sixth
first time
Sense.
we're
Yeah.
watching the
There's-
movie, Jim.
There is a big. There's a giveaway in this.
What do you
on this
think?
day.
there's
What do you
not.
think of
Yes, there
Bruce
is.
Willis in
There
this
is
scene?
100%
What do you think about
a
how he
giveaway.
sits there and talks to his wife and she doesn't talk back to him? What do you think? Oh, he's just
Yeah,
having
that's
dinner.
what you're
Is
doing
he?
right now, Jim.
Is
There's-
he?
I'm saying there's
Or
a.
is he a ghost?
Oh my god.
You know
Jim-
who was in that movie?
The
Sora.
the only people who can
He
determine
was.
the only people who can determine whether or not there was a giveaway or whether it's giving hints are the ones who don't already know the answer.
No. Because and we'll get to it. It's on this day, and I will tell you, and you guys are going to be like, "Oh, nobody would ever notice that," but a lot of fucking people would. Guarantee it.
All right.
Yeah,
So,
well, they
People
are
who've
on
already
this
played this game
podcast.
15 times.
Roxas wakes up in his room, and it's sort of like he puts his feet down, and his regular feet are like transforming into Sora feet with the
Yeah.
So
dumb
his
shoes.
normal
Big
feet
dumb
are
shoes.
turning into giant clown feet, is what you're saying.
Yeah,
He starts turning into Ronald McDonald from the bottom up.
he does. Yeah, from the waist down. He goes, and so Roxas is feeling weird. He goes to see his friends, and he like can't interact with them anymore. Like he goes to touch Hayner, and his hand goes through him, and then they're like, "Let's go!" And then they all run right through him.
Sora's like, "I see dead people." Get it, guys? Because
I do.
It's Haley Joel Osment, who, by the way, none of you corrected me when I've like multiple times talked about how he was in Star Wars. Yeah, John's shaking his head like, "I don't read your messages, Matthew. You're an idiot, and I dislike having you around."
Oh, what? No. It's just that Matt sends a lot of messages when John's in Sleep Town.
That's true. It is obnoxious, and I apologize. I know how frustrating
it's
it is when
fine.
I wake up and there's a million messages in the chat.
But they're all from me, and no one answers them and just pretends
Well, no,
they
so,
exist.
like back when Vanessa was up until 6 a.m. playing PUBG every night, it was a real
that's
fucking
true.
novel.
Yeah,
I have a lot of thoughts to share.
When you're playing PUBG.
All right, so Roxas, he can't interact with anyone. He finds the picture from earlier in their little den, and it doesn't have him in it. Ooh.
Whoa.
And so he goes to leave. Axel shows up again with some squigglies, and he's like, I'm supposed to bring you back, conscious or not, and if you don't come back, I'm totally going to murder you. And then Roxas is like, hey, we're supposed to be best friends. And Axel's like, oh, so you remember now. He's like, just to prove you're not faking it, what's our boss's name? And he doesn't know. And then you hear like Diz over like it's a voice in his head or something. And he's like, Roxas, get to the mansion at once. The time has come. And so you have to go to the mansion and it's locked. And then you see like a little cutaway of Sora's like world locking animation from the first game with the Keyblade. And Roxas does that and opens the gate to the mansion and goes inside. And then you find Nominee's room again. You see all the sketches in there. You can check those out.
There's random encounters with Heartless.
Yeah, there is some Heartless in here.
And you pick up a pile of sketches like an item.
Oh, yeah, that's right. You do find Nominee sketches.
Yeah.
And it's here. Do you talk to Nominee again here?
Yes.
I don't think so. Okay.
I think you do. And this is where she's like, Roxas, you're not going to disappear. And Roxas goes, I'm going to disappear? What? And she's like, no, you're not going to disappear. And he's like,
Don't
I'm
worry.
going to disappear?
This procedure has an almost 100% chance of you not disappearing. So don't even worry about it. It's fine.
So, and then you get another flashback here that shows Roxas in the organization. He's wearing a cool jacket like the other guys.
Okay, let's talk about these chairs.
These what?
Chairs.
The chairs in Nominee's room?
No.
But chair. Oh, that's in a second. That's in a second. So we get a flashback of Sora and Axel in the organization in that city that we saw earlier, and Roxas is like, I have a Keyblade or whatever. I have to leave. And Axel's like, Axel's like, no. And then Roxas asks Nominee who the organization is. And she's like, they are a group, and I wrote this down word for word. She says they are a group of incomplete people who wish to be whole again, and that they are searching for Kingdom Hearts.
And Jim found this to be very resonant as a teen. As Teen Jim's like, oh, gee whiz, guys, I'm also a group of...
Aren't we all incomplete in a way? They cranked up the new metal.
My favorite part here is where Roxas goes, Kingdom Hearts, and Nominee goes, is that funny? And I'm like, yes, it is funny.
Roxas wants to know what's going to happen to him next, which he says is a question that he's been running away from. And right as that happens, Diz shows up and like pulls her out of the room. Oh no, she gets like matrixed out. Like it shows her body like
he teleports her out of there, like he
dissolving.
teleports himself in. Listen, Can we talk about the fact that you go through this whole mansion and it's literally all of the rooms that all of the sets that you've seen so far are this mansion. And that made me laugh so hard, particularly when you get to Nominee's room and it's all white. Why is her room all white? Why is her room all white like Castle Oblivion, unlike everything else in the rest of the flipping house? It's crazy.
It's all white. The flowers are white. They have white leaves and white stems and a white vase.
They do this whole white thing to make it look like a weird Matrix room, but then you go in and you find out, no, somebody just painted this room white like a psychopath.
Here's my theory is that, you know how Christopher Lee has to code every room that they walk into? He just hadn't finished texturing that one, and that's why.
That's a good theory.
And that would be a good theory if... I guess I also can't talk about things that have happened in other games, but watch our Chain of Memories stream.
Yeah. We need more flashbacks to talk about how Diz decided he was going to decorate this mansion. Like, no, I need that downstairs table busted So
And I'm gonna lounge next to it when I talk to you.
Diz actually shows up here, and I think this is the first time you hear the word, but he calls Roxas a nobody. And
Wow,
says,
that's rude.
And says that Nominee is also a nobody, and that they're only half a person.
He doesn't. I don't think he uses that term. I don't think we hear that until we talk to Yin.
I watched the cutscene today. He says it.
I watched the cutscene today, by the way. Jim,
so
we play the game on this show. We don't just watch the cutscenes. So
I've played this game many times.
we don't have played this game.
Sorry, I don't know if you looked at the official Square Roots rule book, where rule number 1 is dogs can't play the game, and rule number 2 is prior playthroughs do not count.
Even if they're within like 30 days.
That's within the Square Roots bylaws.
I just played this game like a month ago. It counts.
He did play it.
Real coincidental
when
that
he
it
felt
won the
like-
vote then, huh, Jim?
I know.
Rigged election. That's what I'm talking about.
Let's see.
All right. I'm sorry. Let me do that again. Rigged election. Gosh.
Stop the steal.
Stop the steal, Is one of these levels going to be about storming the... You know what? Never mind.
Let's see. So, Nominee, before she gets like portaled out by Diz, is like, you won't disappear. Or you're half a person, so you'll become whole. You won't disappear.
She says, Roxas, you won't disappear. And he goes, I'll disappear. It's so fucking crazy. It's so
What do you
weird.
mean I'm gonna disappear?
She's standing 2 feet away from him.
But honestly, like, if someone said that to me, if they were like, listen, you're not gonna die, I'd be like, what? Like, you're gonna, or even like, listen, you're not going to be in the hospital tomorrow, but, and I'm like, what, but, what?
You're doing
I
some
understand his
real
panic.
rewriting of the script like Matthew watching Batman versus Superman. You're doing some real mental gymnastics to make this work. No, you see, when he says Martha, he doesn't want to reveal his identity even though he's about to die. And Bruce recognizes the name, and that's the moment that he like sees Clark's humanity finally and stops seeing him as an other. I'm waiting for one of you to interrupt me. You're all just kind of quietly listening to me talk about this. I don't know what's happening.
Tell me more, man.
Interesting.
You see, it's like a 9/11 parable.
Oh no! Oh no!
It is.
All right, so this is John. This is where we can talk about the chairs.
Yeah, so Roxas finds a computer, and then his head starts hurting, and then we get another like flashback? Question mark? Okay, not Jim. I don't want to hear you, Jim, because you know the answer to this. Vanessa, is this a flashback?
That is how I interpret these to be. How I interpreted them. Yes.
So
we're
what's
getting
happening is that Roxas is having the flashbacks to his real life because he's been matrixed and he's like brain's been rewritten. That's
Well,
pretty
you know
clearly
the
what's
answer.
I don't know the answer. That's just what I think is going on from what I saw in this game today. He's in the Matrix. They've rewritten his brain to think he's a good kid, but really he's one of these Organization
bad
13
guy?
scumbags.
Yeah.
And we come to the big mystery of this episode.
Why are their chairs so tall?
Why are their chairs so very tall? Jim, this is the one time we'll allow you to spoil it for us.
So I believe that
Oh,
the
no, he's
height,
got a reason.
the height
Fuck
the height
you.
of the height of the chairs represents how strong they are. Like their rank in the organization. So the highest numbered person is going to have the lowest height chair because they're
What?
they're the at the bottom.
They're
rung.
number
So
one. But the
number
lowest
one would have the
chair is in
tallest chair.
ground
What?
level. Why are
Yeah.
the chairs 2 miles in the sky?
Because it fucking looks cool.
No, it doesn't. It's absurd.
The person who designed it thought it did.
Well, that person was a clown.
His name is Nomura, and he has feelings.
His name is Ronald McDonald. He wants to sell you
so
a
at
billion
this point-
cheeseburgers, and he thinks super tall chairs are cool.
Matt was playing this again today, and Matt's boy child did walk in, did see these chairs, and then did ask Father, Papa, why are why are these chairs so tall, Father?
Yes, this is my very accurate impression of Matthew's son.
Papa, why are the chairs so high? Oh, Papa, wouldn't they be afeard to perch upon them? Oh, Papa.
It would take a fortnight to walk over to get up that high.
To the top of that chair.
Oh, Papa, they're terribly impractical. Oh.
Why are the chairs so high?
I feel like we're asking the wrong questions. There are a lot more pertinent questions about this
Certainly,
game.
this is the most interesting question of all the questions posed so far by this game.
Think of the chair height as a metaphor.
Would you sit in that chair, Jim, or would you feel like, I don't know, is your vertigo bad? Would you be like, I wish there was some kind of thing to hold on to?
These people can teleport.
I would need a harness. Yeah, I'd want to have a harness.
They're
Or like
a bunch of night crawlers.
I don't like any amusement park ride that doesn't have a
like
shoulder
over the
harness.
shoulder thing.
Yeah. What about you, Vanessa?
There are many different kinds of amusement park rides, and I'm fine with just a safety bar on like a dark ride where you're just moving at 5 miles per hour through a flat environment.
Johnny need to feel safe.
Johnny need big man arms around me.
Okay, so this is
Big metal
essentially.
arms.
Let's just kind of wrap up this Roxas thing. We learned that
wrap up this game.
Roxas is
The rest of the
half
series,
Sora.
all PUBG talk.
Roxas is Sora's nobody, and he's going to combine back with him to complete Sora's restoration. So let's explain the nobodies real quick.
No, they explain it soon enough, so why should we do it now? We get a whole explanation in Yin Sid's tower.
Oh, that's right, yeah. Okay,
John?
John? So now Roxas says, what does he say about his summer vacation?
I guess my summer vacation is over.
Yeah.
Summer is gone. The boys of summer. What's
And
the
now
song?
we're Sora
Somebody
again.
else sing that
Won't you
Atari's
call
cover.
me when September ends?
No, it's
Yuck.
not.
I like girls who stop on by for the summer. I
There we
like girls
go
who wear
on.
lots of zippers and shit.
Like a was during the sun.
No, wait, that's
ice cream makes me sick.
Sea salt ice cream makes me sick. And I'm looking for Sora for the summer.
I think it's fly when Pete stops by for the summer. Okay, so now we're Sora again.
Hang on, I got it.
Summer loving, having a blast.
Summer 11, reliving my past.
After the boys of summer have gone.
Yes, I was saying, don't look back. You can never look back.
It's a good song.
Where are we at
Shitty
now?
bait.
We're Sora now.
Who knows? Are we Sora now?
Yeah. Back to
So-
Sora, Donald, and Goofy.
We did see a cutscene here where they take Roxas. Or is it here? Or maybe it's later. No, it's got to be before this when we figure out what happened to Roxas. We see it. There's a
see it.
flashback where he decides to leave Organization 13.
Yeah.
And he's like, nobody cares about me anyway. And Axel's there. And Axel's like, I'll care. But he leaves anyway. And then he gets ambushed. And Diz and Ansem throw him into like a digitizer and put him in a digital world.
Well, aren't you an handsome fella?
Yeah, that's what Christopher Lee says. He's like, aren't you an handsome fella? Oi. The coppers is after me. I'm Dracula. Also the Dookie Man.
All right.
So this whole beginning of the game has been what? John wanted to talk about it so bad.
Yeah, this is a Truman Show.
It's a Matrix. It's not
The
a Truman
Matrix.
Show.
It's a Truman Show / Dark City.
No, it's a Matrix. Dark City is all a video game. This is he's
Okay.
in a video game.
If it's a video game, then why can Sora be in there too? It doesn't make any sense.
Sora's not. No, because Sora goes to the real version of the fake world that they created.
There's a real
There's
version?
there's a real Twilight Town and a digital Twilight Town.
And on the real
well-
Twilight Town, those kids exist, But
That's
I
thanks.
don't know.
Spoilers.
What are you talking about? That's in this chunker.
That what? No,
That's how you get to Yen Sid's tower, right? You go through Twilight Town?
Yeah, I thought it was just like they changed. What? Oh,
Don't we meet Leon and
Yeah,
Yuffie
I don't know.
and-
Well, that's next chunker. But so they're at. Okay, so before was the Matrix, and now it's real life. So they don't remember. They don't remember
Sora
the other kid.
comes out of the pod that he's been in, and he wakes up in the mansion. And this version of the mansion also. So this disproves John's theory that because this version of the mansion is the same. So Sora, who is in the real
I didn't
world,
realize
walks
that
into
this was like a
Naminé's
real world.
weird
Okay.
white painted room. Well, either that or the whole game takes place in a virtual reality, which if it does, fuck you.
I just didn't. I thought it was all like a. This was just never mind. I thought it was a Truman Show. That's
It's a
what I'm
Matrix.
saying. Okay.
Except for,
But-
and like
yeah,
the Matrix
except
where
that
you're
when the
jacked
Matrix turns
into your
off-
brain, in this, he was like physically put inside of it.
But
He was digitized, like Tron.
It'd be like the Matrix-
It's a Tron.
except that when you get out of the Tron or the Matrix, it's the same world. That's the part I didn't get.
It's not.
But it
He's-
looks the same.
It looks the same
looks
because
the
it's
same,
based on a
yeah.
real world. Yes.
I didn't know that part. That's the part.
So
I didn't
Diz was not
understand.
created enough to like build his own world. He just built the town he was
okay.
actually living in because he was
Okay.
in that mansion.
Then
And he
yes,
did kidnap Naminé and was keeping her there in an all-white room like an
Do you
asshole.
think Naminé just had some like spray paint and just walked around the room
Do you
spraying
think it was
everything
her,
white?
or do you think Diz did this? Like, is this a thing that they did to her, or is she like, I can only exist in
Well-
all white houses?
I have faith that the writers of Kingdom Hearts 2 will explain everything by the end of the game.
Oh, buddy, you should not.
All right. So, moving on. Now you are Sora and Donald and Goofy are there, and they're like, oh, gosh, how
So
long
just-
do you think we slept?
Just so that we're on the same page.
1 year, by the way.
Sora
1 year.
Vores Roxas. Roxas is now in Sora's tummy.
Okay.
Is that correct?
I guess so.
But
Because
he
he got
ate him.
like all his experience and everything.
He gets his powers.
Is that why
that how
Sora
it works?
grows so big and his voice deepened between game 1 and 2? Because there's a whole thing about his clothes not really
Yeah.
fitting him anymore.
His
and looking
shorts
really
come up
weird.
to his
Sora,
like
your
inner
clothes
thigh
are
now.
so
It's
short.
wild.
Well, everyone on the internet's like, shorts above the knee is what we want to see.
Okay, but shorts above the knee don't mean up to the tip of your.
Wow, are you saying you know where Sora is?
Oh my god!
I think Matt forgot the word.
Well, there's
Oh, somebody
things I have.
stole! Somebody stole it!
Somebody stole.
Are we all trying to say? Oh, that's crazy.
Yeah, you guys, I'm looking in my pants and there's no.
Wow, mine is gone too.
Great job, Liv. So, Sora Vord, even though Naminé said he wouldn't disappear, he does disappear.
Yeah, they lied.
He lives in Roxas lives in Sora now. So this has all been a big 4-hour fake out. Right?
It's like the beginning of Metal Gear Solid 2 where you think you're gonna play a Solid Snake, and then surprise, surprise, you don't play.
It's a
Solid
reverse
Snake.
Metal Gear Solid 2.
Oh,
But here's the thing that bugs me
Roxas
about
is
this.
the
Is that
ride-in.
you spend 3 hours with Roxas. I was ready to go on Roxas's adventure. Like, Donald and Goofy are going to show up and be like, Sora's dead. You're the hero now. Like, I was here for
Well,
it.
Matt,
In
that's
a
what Birth
stupid
by Sleep
costume.
is for. Let's go. Let's all just stop right now. Play Birth by
I don't want to
Sleep.
play Birth by Sleep.
Hey,
I don't
I've already
wanna
played
play
Birth by
Dream
Sleep.
Consciousness.
Weird.
I don't want to play Card Capture Sora I don't want to play 28 Days
okay,
Remix point
We
five.
won't play those right now.
Jim was
Okay.
so excited to talk about this game because he wanted to talk about all of this lore so bad, and the fact that we're refusing to let him, I can see the anger on his
Yeah,
face.
it's great.
Yeah.
He's a living version of that meme with like the crying
kid,
face
the
man
kid is like
with
struggling.
the
So,
mask
Vanessa-
over it that's like a smiling face. That's you
Did you-
right now. Like, oh, fine.
Since you haven't played any of the other games, did you also get the impression that this was the same world, or like a?
No,
Did you understand?
I thought that this was a computer world, and that was it.
Okay. And so you understood when they became Sora that they were in the real world now.
No, I thought they were still
Oh.
in the computer world.
Yeah, me too. The game doesn't tell you one way or the other really what's going on.
I
Yeah.
think that at one point Roxas goes through the teleporter that teleported him into the digital world.
He
What?
does. He does.
When?
Yeah.
He does.
Like when you're going through at the end of the mansion level. You make your way.
What
remember
are you
you
talking about?
You talk to Naminé, you go to the library and fill in the missing part of the puzzle. The floor
Yeah.
disappears and Diz's lab is down there, and you go
Yeah.
in and you go through the teleporter thing. And then from that point on, you're in the real world. And then when he sees Sora, he gets sucked into Sora like one of multiple man's clones coming back to him.
The game
Why
did not
aren't we
explain.
talking about fighting
That's
Axel?
a great analogy.
Yeah, you do fight Axel, and it's well, yeah. We didn't really talk about that, did we?
No, it's
Yeah, you
the
totally
first
fight
real
it.
boss fight of the game.
Yeah.
What? No, the big nobody that you have to do that has the QuickTime events is the first boss of the game.
We didn't
Okay,
really talk about that either.
Yeah, we did.
Second real boss fight of the game is Axel. He is you get to do some pretty cool triangle moves on him. I like those. And yeah, you defeat him. He wasn't that hard.
She said.
All right, moving on. Moving on. So, Sora walks around this town a bit. He's like, this seems super familiar to me. He meets Hayner, Pence, and Olette, and they're like, don't we know him from somewhere? He seems real familiar. At first, Hayner / Zell is real dick to Sora. He's like, yeah, this is our spot, so get out of here. Then everyone else is like, oh, sorry about that. He's a nice guy. He's just going through some stuff.
He's got a fake
And-
friend that he can't remember now because somehow the things that happen in the video game world did kind of touch the people in the real world, but you do learn that Cypher won the tournament.
Oh, well, that sucks. You do get to go to, what's that place called? Oh yeah, no, they say there was someone, because you introduce yourselves. You're like, hi, I'm Sora, and these are my friends, Donald and Goofy.
That's not what he sounds like at all. It's Haley Joel Osment, right? He's
Yeah,
like,
but his voice is deeper. Now, I'm just making a joke that his voice is deeper in this game than it was in the last one, because HJO went through puberty.
was it him in both of them?
Yeah.
yeah.
I didn't realize that. When are we going to have him on the show?
TBD.
No, I don't want him on the show because you can't disappoint a picture. Did you see that Invincible
Yes.
version of him? I was like,
Yes.
Oh my! Oh hi! Ooh.
I don't think he has any speaking lines, though. I don't think it really is him. I think they just copped his...
They made a Big Bear version of him. So,
Yeah, I don't think it's an animated show that has one real actor just kind of jammed in there.
so you do talk to them, and they seem to kind of remember Sora, but they're like, "Oh, your names are Donald, Goofy, and Sora." Oh, there was this guy in all black that was like looking for you.
All black. Oh
And-
no! What if it was one of those guys?
And so you go to the train station, and suddenly you get attacked by the old school Heartless?
No,
Yeah,
there's
the
squigglies
Heartless.
again. These are squigglies. It's a bunch of squigglies.
There's Heartless all over the town.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Meow.
So we get to the station. We're beset upon by a bunch of squigglies at Sunset Plaza. And we fight a bunch of them, but there are too many, and all our party members collapse. And then who shows up but King Mickey?
What? But he's in a fucking black leather bondage gear.
He is.
He's in an Organization 13 robe.
Yeah, he's in an organization
He
robe.
still has huge ears through his hood, which is hilarious.
Yeah, that's pretty
Is he
funny.
in Organization 13?
He is not.
It's really
Why is
confusing.
he dressed like them then?
I don't know. I don't know. Don't know. They wanted him to look cooler, I guess. I don't know.
He doesn't
'Cause they
look
didn't
cool.
decide-
He looks
I'm not
terrible.
saying this stuff was gonna mean until years later.
Cool. I'm not saying this stuff is cool.
You did say it's
Same.
cool.
I did.
Too late.
Jim thinks all this is cool. Quote,
You know what's
unquote.
cool? Big old yellow shoes, white pristine gloves,
Staying
red
in
shorts
school.
with 2 giant yellow buttons on them, and no shirt. That's cool.
That is
No
cool.
I think
shoes,
it's
no
cool?
shirt, no service. That's what's cool.
Organization 13 outfit, Mickey Mouse, like Yoda-ing
That is
all
cool.
those dudes with it. It's like, oh, I'm going to destroy you little chumps.
Yeah, he does.
This game has
Wrecks
some.
them.
This game has some great King Mickey moments. I won't spoil them, but they're good.
Great.
And so King Mickey shows up and he's like, "Hey, you guys need to go get on that train. Here's some money. Get the fuck out of here."
I did notice the bag he gave them looks a lot like, well, I mean, by say I noticed, the game like points it out 5 times
Yeah,
that the
yeah.
bag he
This
gave
is-
them does look like the bag that Olette has and the one
Bag
that got
that was stolen from Roxas. Yeah.
So that digital bag got like de-digified and put into real life?
No, they
Yeah.
can bring things out of the digital world.
It's a great way to counterfeit money. How do you think he affords all this stuff?
That's true. That's true. So you get on the big magical train. This time it's real, I guess. And the big magical train goes all the way to the tower. And you go on a train. Well, Mickey goes on the train with you, right?
No.
No?
Definitely not.
Oh, well, never mind then. But you do go on a train with Donald and Goofy.
Yeah, but did we
And-
talk about how his friends come to see him off?
Yeah, and for some reason, Sora starts crying.
Yeah, like Ponzi and Ofet and Zober
Zell.
come. Yeah, and they're
Sewer
like,
come.
yeah, and they're all like, "Hey, we just felt like we needed to come and see you off. We don't know why." And Sora's like, "Oh, well, I mean, I've never met you before, but okay." And then he's standing there looking at them, and a tear rolls down his cheek, and they're like, "Are you okay?" And he's like, "Yeah, I don't know where that came from." And they're like, "Well, bye." And they watch him leave, and I thought it was kind of touching.
Do you think that the tear was like the bit of Roxas that's inside of him?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think Roxas is all up in there.
Roxas is in his tummy now.
Okay. So you go to the tower, and right outside the tower, whose pendulous bottom do you see in like real fetish gear?
Yeah,
Like,
this is real
I'm talking
fetish
like
gear.
a front to back zipper chap fetish gear. Or I guess hip waders. It's more like skin tight hip waders with a front to back access zipper. And you're like, "Oh, who's that?" He turns around and is like, "Oh, it's you guys." And it's Pete. And Goofy explains that Pete's been causing problems to everyone in the kingdom for decades. And that King Mickey actually had exiled him to the Forbidden Zone.
Yeah. I mean, he did fully unzip, and I can understand why they exiled him.
Exiled him, yeah.
Yeah.
I do like that before he turns around, they're like, "What are you doing?" And he's like, "Oh, well, I sent these Heartless into this tower because I heard a really powerful wizard lives here, and I'm going to brainwash him and turn him into a Heartless, and I'm doing this all because I'm working for Maleficent, and, you know, that's what's going to go on, and then I'm going to take over the world, and now I'll just turn around and see who it is I'm talking to now that I've revealed my evil plan. Oh, beans!"
Did you also notice that he says Maleficent and everyone else says Maleficent?
Yeah.
I noticed that they like have a good laugh about how they already murdered this woman that he thinks he's working
They do.
for.
They're
They're
like,
like,
"She's toast."
we killed her.
Did you know that Pete is a cat?
What?
Yeah.
Really?
Yep.
Yeah.
I thought he was a dog like Goofy.
No.
No.
That's what I thought too for years. Turns out Pete is a cat. Pete originally was a bear and then was retconned into being a cat.
Vanessa, we don't allow that kind of deep dive lore on this show. If it's not presented in the game, we can't reveal it.
So you decide. So Pete, I guess, scrambles off. Is that right?
You know, you just walk by him into the fucking castle.
Yeah.
And you go inside. Every floor of the stupid tower has like a 1-minute fight against a few. I guess, is it a mix of heartless and nobodies?
No, they're heartless.
Okay.
Yeah, these are heartless.
You fight some heartless. You get to the top of the tower, and who is there but everyone's favorite wizard, one of many wizards in this confusingly complicated world called Yen Sid.
Played by Christopher Lee.
What?
I'm 100% sure that Christopher Lee is Yen Sid.
What are you talking about?
100%. Really? Yen
It's
Sid and
Corey Burton.
Diz are 100% the same person.
No, they're not.
Yes, they are.
Yeah,
It's Christopher
it's
Lee.
Corey Burton. He
Diz
also plays Dale.
Great.
He also plays Ludwig von Drake in The Wonderful World of Mickey Mouse.
That's great. Yeah, Yen
Christopher
Sid
Lee.
is the wizard from Fantasia.
From The Sorcerer's Apprentice.
Yep. And Diz
He has no
is
eyelids.
a red
That's
mummy.
That's his big defining character thing, is that he has
he
no
has
eyelids.
very intense stare.
He gives you this bullshit book to read that doesn't explain anything about what's happened in the game so far.
Yeah. Okay, so he's like, I've got a book that will explain everything.
Yes, it's in 3 parts. Part 1. Each journey gives rise to chance encounters, and each encounter brings forth a farewell. When a farewell leads to a journey, the world opens their hearts, those chosen by the light or ensnared by darkness, friends who share the same bonds, though their paths may differ. When you doubt the path you trod thus far, when the hand you held is lost to you, gaze anew at the heart that once was, for all the answers are within.
There's a path that's taken, a path not taken. The choice is up to you, my friend.
I'm not going to read the other 2 parts of the book, but they are very much the same.
No, please do.
Okay,
No, I don't think we need that.
Do it.
Do it.
Do it.
Part 2, Interlude. A long dream, a sad farewell, hanging in the air, that world between. What is reality? What is illusion? The path chosen by the young boy leads to his memories. When caught in the stream of the days and nights going past, gaze anew at your steps, for there all confusion will end. And finally, part 3, the future story. Will the day come when this battle, born of confusion, will end? It is different things to different people. Can the reality be that which is hidden? The reason is mere existence. Still, memories can be believed. Be not afraid. Entrust your body to the soothing waves of your memories. By and by, your fleeting rest will be over, and everything will begin.
Amazing. Poetry. So that explains everything that's happened so far, right?
Yeah, that's the explanation. Then he gives us a slideshow of the different kinds of enemies we'll encounter. He's like, here's a heartless, and one like appears in the room, and he's like, a heartless is born when somebody steals the heart from somebody. And here's a nobody, and a nobody is what's left behind when the heart is taken. It's just the body without the heart. And usually it turns
Why is it
into
called a nobody when it's just a body?
It makes no sense. And it's like, usually it turns into a dusk, which is this kind of wiggly thing you've been seeing.
It's the
But some
squiggly
nobodies
monsters.
are very smart and have unique abilities, and they'll pretend to have emotions, but they don't have emotions. So don't be fooled, because a nobody has no real emotions.
But we know that's not true, because Roxas was Sora's nobody.
And
he
has
clearly
emotions
had
and
emotions.
feelings.
Maybe he was just pretending.
Didn't seem that way.
I don't know. I'm not sure I believe this guy.
He seems like an unreliable narrator, and I don't think we should trust him.
Yeah, I agree.
He has an agenda. It's a real Game of Thrones situation.
Okay, you want to know something weird about this guy that Jim was telling you about? This guy, Corey Burton?
No.
Do you know who he plays in Star Wars The Clone Wars?
Count Dooku.
Count Dooku.
He sounds just like him. I told you. I'm surprised it's not. I thought it was Christopher Lee legit. And his name is Diz, and this guy's name is Yensid. I was like, oh, shit. My thought was, because they've described what a nobody is, my thinking is that Diz is Yensid's nobody, and nobody got turned into a Heartless at some point, maybe?
Ooh.
Now, I don't know, but my actual assumption is that Diz is Ansem, because I think everybody is Ansem.
Well, Jim did say that all villains in this game are actually Ansems.
Yeah, that's true.
You said that.
I think I said that. All the villains in this game are Ansem, as far as I can tell.
Actually, all the villains are
If it looks like it's Riku, it's probably Ansem. And if it's somebody who you don't know who they are because they have a mask on, I think it's Ansem.
Did you know that Yen Sid is Disney spelled backwards?
Yes.
Yeah, you told us last week.
I didn't tell you that last week. I told
season.
you last series about Kingdom Hearts.
No, you well, probably that too. Probably then too. Did you know that Diz is probably short for Disney, though? Right? Disney.
Well, that's the kind of the impression I got, so that's why I was a little confused.
All right, mighty boss tones. Why don't you relax and knock on some wood?
The last thing that you do is go, and he's like, so the Yensid's like, by the way, you're about to get on a fucking gummy ship. Just FYI.
So change your clothes first.
Yeah, he's like, your clothes have gotten too small. And Sora's like looking at his clothes, and then I was like, yes, you're glad I'm Sora.
I can see the tip of your gosh, I can see the tip of your dick hanging out, Sora. Because his pants are so
Wear
short.
pants, but you have to wear pants because you have an external penis.
I don't like that at all.
I love it. So,
To me, it sounds like an original bit that no one's ever done before.
yes, it does. It's Vanessa's Donald Duck impression. It's a totally different bit. So, then he says, by the way, there's a few fairies in the next room that will dress you. I'm like, that's offensive.
Yeah. And they're like, hey, girl.
That's
oh my God.
wow. Alt-right Vanessa's comic hour is back.
They're like, no. Yeah, you're right. I'm sorry. I can't do that. Only John can do that. John, please do the impression.
Bippity boppity boo.
Oh,
It's the bippity boppity boos.
You get some new clothes that give you cool powers.
no.
So
I
there's
like
a hilarious
this. Jim has
cutscene.
fucking blue balls from not being able to explain
it's
the
great.
fucking backstory to this game.
The three little fairies from Sleeping Beauty, and their names are Flora,
Bippity. Boppity.
Bell something,
Boo.
Bellwether, and Molly Brew.
Belcara.
They have names.
Really? Oh.
They should use them then, huh?
Yeah.
Flora, Fauna, and Merryweather.
Thank you. I was very close.
Woo.
You were way off.
What does Donald Duck, how does he say their names, Vanessa?
No.
Flora, Flora,
That's such a nightmare. All right, so Flora, Fauna, and Merryweather first argue over colors, where they just want like their because each of them have a signature color, and they start like yelling the signature colors and like changing Sora's outfit. And it's just, I was like, this is just the same outfit, but it's different colors. But then they're like, all right, we're going to work together to make a brand new outfit. And they do. And it's like a rad belts and zippers outfit. It's like way more belts and zippers than his last outfit. I'd call it like 200% more belts and zippers. What do you think, Vanessa?
Yeah, it looks super Hot Topic. It's great.
Mm-hmm. It's a lot like what Pete was wearing.
Yeah,
like
it's like a mini version of Pete's outfit.
Mm-hmm. And well, I guess that's it.
That's it for this chunker.
That's it for this chunker.
Next chunker, we are going to play through. We're gonna go through Hollow Bastion, the Land of Dragons, and Beast's Castle.
Ooh, Beast is back.
But before we kick off reading a few emails that we got, let's talk about what we were all squarely against for this chunker.
Actually, before that, I'm just going to quickly talk about the mini games.
Oh, right.
What was your favorite mini game?
I only did the mail delivery.
There's mail delivery. There was putting up posters. There was pushing a cart up the hill. There was trash collection. I know Vanessa really liked trash collection.
It's not trash collection. It's trash smack 'em up. And there's like 8 pieces of trash, and you want to destroy them with as few swings of your little foam bat as possible. So the goal is to knock the trash into other pieces of trash and cause them all to explode.
I think the very worst one was pushing the cart up the hill. That one sucked. Although Vanessa
Push the
did give me a
cart
pro
sucked.
tip that you can like hit it while it's in the air. And that gives it like a super move.
I actually didn't like putting posters up because it just takes longest of any of the games.
Apparently you can make the most money doing the poster one though.
But I think you can't keep any of the money that you get anyway because it's all
That's true.
stolen.
But
Yeah.
I think you can go back and do these jobs later. And when you have
You
like
can.
drives. Oh yeah, there's also something about like the clothes they give you a drive, but we'll talk about that next time. Yeah, I think the worst one was definitely pushing the cart up a hill. I found that one really frustrating, and I hated how passive aggressive these people were to a child who was helping them with their small jobs, and they refused to pay him a good sum because they're like, you were 10 seconds too slow. What are you, Amazon? Come on. That's like current, a current bit, like a
Yeah, that was
It's very timely.
All right.
cool.
Jim, what are you squarely against with this chunker?
I think I'm going to echo what Matt said earlier. The pacing for this beginning part is bad. It's boring, man. I just wanted to play as Sora and get to smash Heartless with my buds, but I had to do all this shit first. And it's very cutscene heavy, not super engaging, and I was glad when it was over. Vanessa, what are you squarely against?
I am squarely against starting off this game without any of the hooks that your game is known for. That is, Final Fantasy characters and Disney characters in Disney worlds. The only Final Fantasy characters we encounter are the 3, like, Draco Malfoy and his goons from Final Fantasy VIII, and some sort of bastardization of Vivi, and Seltzer. Like, that's not
Seltzer?
going to satisfy anyone.
Setzer.
Seltzer.
Alka-Setzer.
Alka-Setzer. So yeah, I understand that they're like trying to go for this mystery kind of thing, but you have to have a hook before you launch into something like so obscure and confusing. You know, like there has to be something that makes you want to get through to the other side, and I didn't feel it. Matt, what are you squarely against?
Kingdom Hearts 2. I get it's tough because this episode, this is a rough start to this game. It's not good. And what comes next is not good. I guess I want to try to be somewhat positive. So I'll say I'm roundly for the combat here at the beginning of the game. Once you get the air save and the block, the combat opens up a little bit and becomes a little bit better. So far, I'm okay with the combat, I guess. What about you, Jim?
Already went. John.
I am roundly for that this is a game aimed at like people beginning JRPG players. I'm roundly for the game not patronizing them, that it kind of gives you a complicated plot with a lot of themes and stuff. It's a bit like Labyrinth, if Labyrinth were a JRPG.
What?
Well, in terms of not patronizing, like it's like, you know, giving you stuff aimed at a teen, but it's also using dark themes and it's complicated.
What are you talking about?
I like that it's not talking down to its audience, I would say, is the thing I think is really cool.
Talking to its audience at all. Every word that comes out of this game is a nonsense.
I think that if this game had come out when I was a tween, I would have been obsessed with it. I could totally see why this game was so influential on people who are younger than me.
Me.
It seems, yeah, like a Jim, because it's deeper, much deeper than most games aimed at that market are, and is not insulting. You know, it's not like, do you know how to use a potion? You know, it gives you credit that you can understand a very it's overly complicated and messy so far. But I just think that it has deeper themes and adult themes. Well, you know, not adult, but more serious themes in a kiddie. It's just kind of bizarre combining like this Labyrinth style bizarre thematic thing with Disney. But that's something we'll talk about later on further episodes. But I do think that it has a respect for its audience that I really appreciate. And that is my roundly for.
All right. Well, let's read some emails. We have a few to get through this evening. I'll read the first one. This is from James. He says, "Hey fam, just wanted to write that I loved your interview with Billy Ray. I wasn't really aware of him and was initially worried you were on a first and second name basis with Miley's dad. It was really good. I felt you asked some good questions and I felt he was a very good interviewee. I'm definitely going to start following him on the basis of the interview. Looking forward to your playthrough of Metal Gear Solid 1, aka Konami's answer to Ocarina of Time. Signed, James." Thanks, James. It's good feedback.
Yeah, if you haven't listened to our interview with Billy Ray yet, what's wrong with you? It's really good. I'll read this next email. It's from a patron member. And it is titled Kingdom Hearts 2: A Nobody's Journey, starring Roxas. Hey there, Square Roots crew. I hope that you are enjoying the exciting world of Kingdom Hearts 2. I can't wait to hear what all of you have to say about this game, since it is what cemented RPG games for me as my favorite genre. That being said, even though Kingdom Hearts is a bit confusing with all the numerous amounts of spin-off titles like Birth by Sleep, Dream Drop Distance, and 365/2 Days, it made me think of a question for y'all. Do y'all have a favorite spin-off RPG that is better than or equal to the original games it's based on? Thanks a lot, and looking forward to more episodes.
I'll answer that first. I think Birth by Sleep is probably the best Kingdom Hearts game. I love Kingdom Hearts 2, but Birth by Sleep I think tells a good story, and it's got a good mix of characters. You can play through it with a few different characters, and it fills in a lot of what's going on like the outside of all this Kingdom Hearts stuff. It sets up a lot of the big plot revelations, so I think that one's good. What about you guys?
Does Fallout New Vegas count as a side story? It is not a numbered episode.
I'd say so.
Then Fallout New Vegas, I think it is the best Fallout. I haven't played Fallout 2 or Brotherhood of Steel or Fallout Tactics, but of the ones I played, or Fallout 76, but I think New Vegas is definitely a side story that is very good.
I will say, and perhaps this is cheating because it is DLC, but the Shivering Isles for Elder Scrolls 4 is very, very good.
Counts.
Yeah, it's a totally different story from anything going on in the main game, and it's a delight. Matt.
Persona!
What's the spinoff?
It's a spinoff of Shin Megami Tensei.
Oh.
That whole series is a spinoff. And it's the best series of JRPGs in existence.
Agreed. This next one comes from PJ. He says, "Hello, lady and gentlemen. I know you're looking forward to Kingdom Hearts 2. I understand the first one was more of a mix of Final Fantasy and Disney characters, so that's two pretty big powerhouse franchises across two different media. The obvious question, then, is Soul out of Mario while he bites his lips so hard his mustache brushes the underside of his chin. Mamma mia, I'm so he says through a series of heavy breaths. Ow, wow, 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 he exclaims as he gives me an extra in my as he into me, sizing down. Signed, yours, Bacon Rodriguez, Esquire." Before we wrap up here, let's remind everyone of our Patreon. Through our Patreon, you get access to lots of cool content for $3. You get access to all of our bonus content, our Square Roots Versus episode, some of our older Level Up ones. We just most recently put out an episode where we did some Snyder Cut talk. That was surprisingly about Snyder Cut. And
It wasn't a bit.
Was not a bit. And for $5, you get access to all that content, plus the ability to vote on mainline Square Roots games, with Kingdom Hearts 2, like we said up top, being our most recent Patreon poll winner. And no matter which tier you decide to donate at, we will read your Patreon username at the end of every episode. And I'm going to kick us off this week by thanking Sean Gonzalez, Alex Dillard, Hudson Roth, Tom, Kingdom Farts Poo, Devin Sloan, George Brady, Samu Mitchell, Dr. Fine, say everyone's name, Wash in the Wind, Vanessa's Gold, Taco Bell, PS5, Jack Mazzell, Cyril the Wolf, Citrus C, Zachary Train, Aaron J.L. O'Toole, CT and Big T are the rulers of Runs by Fantasy. Nick, Amanda Douglas, Marcus Harnsberry.
Not the rulers of the house anymore.
Goofy, your keyblade is so big, fuck. Sean Walsh, MC Genesis, Rapsa Dos Equis, Jonathan Ellsworth, Roxas spelled sideways as Sorax. Welcome to Cute Boy Jail, Honk Honk. Chris Wilder, Jake Dickerson, Sexy Grandma's Boy Toy is, Nathan Poirot, Stan Ferguson, Aiden Marriott, Alexander Jokic, John Scala, Gunblading Sid, Eric Garby, and Fresh Eyes.
I'd like to thank Ari Corpovara, Andy M., Robert J. Defendi, no higher profile guest than Dr. Steven Stone, Chris Ryan, Sergeant Spaghetti, clone of the nobody of the heartless of a patron, Zen Master Football, Isaac Wright, Arthur A., Hat Ben, the Ben with the hat, Paul Bursch, Cameron Shoei, with the hat, sorry. William Westgard, Wedgecoon, Grayson, Wawa Weewa, Vanessa's actual mom, Tyler Petty, Race Jenkins, Ricky Barty, WWE Mike G. This sea salt ice cream is almost as salty as Christopher Highness. Cheeky Hazard built a large, cuddly, lovable Zangy Snugglebot with big ol' ham hands for me. Oh, thank you. Robert M. Pullum, Andy Best, Soy Soda Pop, Aaron Bachman, Ryan Miller, Vanessa's Renegade Cheese Plate, Megan Sullivan, more like Final Fantasy Great, change your name, Jameson, DJ Ethro, Michael Crawford, and I'm Commander Squall. This is my favorite store in the garden. Change your name.
Commander Leon.
Yeah, Commander Leon. Then you're fine. And maybe favorite store on this world.
Favorite store in Hollow Bastion.
I was playing this today, and my son saw Leon and was like, wasn't that guy in the last game that you played, but like way younger? I thought it was funny because he's right.
It's weird that Cypher was younger, but Squall/Leon is older.
But Squall/Leon lives in Traverse Town, not Twilight Town.
Actually, he lives in Hollow Bastion in this one, but we're not going to split hairs.
Vanessa.
Simj Axnizazvz Twixt Ham and Yixon Hodge.
Those are our organization names.
Yeah.
I don't think it's...
Hex.
Oh, never mind.
I'm sorry. Would you like to say them, Matt? Go ahead.
Sure.
No, let's hear it.
Zimj Axensavs Twixtum and Nix Hodge.
Nix Naj.
No, the end's silent, John.
Oh, okay.
Obviously.
Sorry.
Please continue.
Please continue, Matt.
No, this is Vanessa's.
That was
Hexagon.
big
Adam
respects on that
Zimmerman.
one. Good try.
PJ Ends hails Lauren Prince, Joshua W. Broxton, Mostly Rational Person, Chris Penyak, Kingdom Hearts 2, and Nobody's Journey, starring Roxas. Squall is not the mama, Matthew Casterline, Ian Frederick, CharityWater.org, Andy Smith, Andres Rivera, Cassandra, I challenge the other Tracy to a duel to the pain, Christian Go, Armin Hammer, Andrew Linehart, Ethan G. Pearson, Bree Girth, still just knows nobody has an unpronounceable name, Joshua Bennett, Justin Rash, Joseph, thanks for playing with my squalls, Ward Childress, Miguel Torres, the Fitnessgram Pacer test is a multi-stage aerobic capacity test that gives progressively more difficult as it continues. The Huxley Iguana, Roxas's Big Blue Swatting Dildo. Listen up, Scoot Stains, Gage La Charité, Knoffer, Grey Code, and Tracy.
I think the reason that Tracy has not responded to I challenged the other Tracy to a duel to the pain is because I challenged the other Tracy to a duel to the pain is misspelled Tracy. I would like to thank Let's Stop Screwing Around and use this sweet, sweet patron money to buy the rights to Shadow Hearts and save it from limbo. That's actually a pretty good idea. I joined Patreon just to vote for Kingdom Hearts 2. You win. You did it. I'm proud of you. Get in the corner, Johnny. David Green, Stu Skeel, Rubber Bearby Buggy Bumper Baby Sitting Service. Boy, I was going to change my name for Kingdom Hearts, but Vanessa messing it up is too fun. Brian Pitt, I have no memory of this game. There's a burp in the middle of this. Sorry, John. Matt Newland is a soul clone or some shit. I don't know. OMG, what is this game? Definitely applies. Mother Box Milkers. Ross Hartley, Justin Ham, Stephen Paget, Randy P, Vanessa, the Kansas Bell's mom, originally from the Welsh town of... Lenfair Puil Gwyn Gil Gagiri Shawai Durab Will Anti Silly Agagagagach Ak. That's a name that's on our Patreon. That's rude. Ally Dodge Street back. All right. I'm only doing this to vote for Kingdom Hearts 2. Joshua Humphrey, Metal Gear Solid 1 in 2021, Tyler Crump, Saber Delta, Dylan Rowe. When performing The Stranger, is it technically Stranger Danger? Please stop saying the word Ryuji. Do Good Recklessly. David Pascal, Sean, Robert T, Snap Crackle Pop, I'm Chester Cheetah. Kevin Walter, Jason Thames, Mary Queen of Scoffs, and Florian Jonas Kramer. Did you give me 80% of the list? Why was it so long?
All right, everyone, that's it for this episode of Square Roots. If you'd like to have an email read on the show, you can email us at squarerootspodcast@gmail.com. Come see us at our Facebook group, the Square Roots Podcast Group for smart, cool, very attractive people, or you can find us on Twitter. We are at Square Roots Pod.
Don't forget to rate, review, and subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Ghana, or wherever you listen to podcasts.
All right, everyone, for Square Roots, I'm Jim Banks.
I'm Matthew Van Zandt.
I'm Johnny Brandon.
And I'm Vanessa.
Bye.
Bye.
Wait, what was the name of the game with the you might be a Wendigo?
What?
That's Until Dawn.
Yeah.
Is what you are referring to.
Until
That's not even what that game was about.
Until Dawn's Hayden Panettiere plays Kyrie.
Oh. Oh, neat. Mm-hmm. Who does Riku's voice? I guess you don't.
Riku is David Gallagher.
Who's that?
He's the watermelon guy.
Yeah, that's a watermelon.
Yeah,
Master King
it's
Gallagher.
the watermelon guy. Yes. So who replaced what's his face for what's the name of Ansem? Who played Ansem?
Listen, friends, this is not IMDb the podcast.
Okay.
This is Square Roots.
But these are big stars, is what we're saying.
We can talk about them when we get to the characters. There's no need now to announce everyone who's going to be in the cast. They don't put the credits at the start of the movie anymore.
Richard Epcar.
Richard. Okay. He does. Yeah, from the waist
I know
down.
that might be a fetish for some people. Oh no! I just threw a cord in my beer.
Clown
What?
from the waist down.
Through a cord? Like your cell phone charging? Oh, God. Don't do that.